plan.
Cloudy with rain and drizzle becoming persistent throughout the morning and highest temperatures of 11 or 12 degrees. That's it for now. We're back with more 10 o'clock. Until then, good morning.
Look, Tom and Mary Murphy are proud to announce the engagement of their daughter Niamh to Rory O'Donnell.
Aww.
5-door hatchback for sale, 1 previous owner, full service history, 3 months NCT.
Like getting your money's worth? Enjoy the delicious triple cheeseburger. Just €2.90 from the McDonald's Eurosaver menu.
Today's 9 till noon show is brought to you in association with Ulster Tyres. Winter is coming. Get your tyres winter ready. Call into Ulster Tyres in Letterkenny and Ballybuffet today.
And now, it's time for the talk of the Northwest. The 9 to noon show with Greg Hughes on Highland Radio.
Hello, a very good morning to you. 5 minutes past 9 on this Tuesday, the 16th of November, and you are tuned to another edition of the 9 till noon show here in Highland Radio. Right, the lines are open for you right now. If you want to WhatsApp or text us, you know it. It's 086 60 25,000, 086 60 25,000, or if you prefer to give us a call, 07491 25,000. Your emails to comments at highlandradio.com, or good morning to you if you're joining us across our social media. Feel free to leave your comments there, have the conversation there as well. Right, let's look at the newspapers this morning. Apparently there's an alarm going off in the background, so you're just going to have to excuse that noise for the time being. We'll start with the Donegal People's Press. Ireland's first alcohol hangover research seminar will take place in Letterkenny Institute of Technology later this week. The event on Friday will bring together a panel of international experts to explore the behavioural, physiological and psychological effects arising from an alcohol-related hangover. Among the speakers will be Dr. Joris Vester, who is a founder of the Alcohol Hangover Research Group. His work is regularly covered by international media, and he is a scientific advisor for many industry and government organisations. Sounds like an interesting one. Now, on to the Derry Journal. A Derry doctor says the community COVID infection rate must be urgently brought under control in a bid to take the pressure off an already on the edge healthcare system across Northern Ireland. Dr. Tom Black, who we are hoping to speak to later, is chairperson of the British Medical Association in Northern Ireland, and he spoke after a number of hospitals spoke of extreme pressure on their wards. In one case, ambulances were diverted away from Craigavon Area Hospital on Sunday evening, except in cases of immediate life-threatening situations. Tom Black says the situation is very concerning, and again, apologies, you can probably hear a fire alarm running in the background there. We're getting on top of that. Next, the Irish Independent. COVID-19 patients could take up more than half of the country's scarce intensive care beds in just a fortnight, which could have serious implications for others in medical need. The HSE's winter plan is forecasting a big rise in COVID-19 patients who may need critical care at the end of this month, occupying up to 164 of the 301 permanent ICU beds. It comes as the HSE is under pressure to ramp up the vaccine booster programme to limit the spread of the fourth wave of the virus. There's some criticism of the HSE that it's quite slow in that process. Well, at last night's Cabinet Committee on COVID-19 meeting, Foreign Affairs Minister Simon Coveney offered HSE boss Paul Reid the help of the Defence Forces to speed up the administration of the booster jabs. Health Minister Stephen Donnelly said he expects the use of boosters to be extended significantly and is waiting new advice for the National Immunisation Advisory Committee, NIAC. It's expected to recommend boosters for all adults aged over 50. The government are going to want to be seen to be doing something today. There is a Cabinet meeting I think we heard Stephen Donnelly's comments there in the news. In fact, let's have a listen back to what he said going into that meeting in the last half hour.
The modelling is very stark, and it would show that if we did nothing, if we were to continue as is, we could be looking at somewhere between 200 and maybe up to 500 people in ICU. Obviously, that's not something we can countenance. We'd be looking at over 1,000 to over 2,000 in hospital, and a very high number of cases.
So what are they going to do? They have to be seen to be doing something, as I said. There's talk of vaccine passports being used in the likes of hairdressers or in the likes of gyms. But I mean, are you a gym goer? Are you a hairdresser? I don't know if the statistics back up that, this is where the cases are spreading. People might talk to major sporting events or what's happening in nightclubs and say, well, look, if you want to look at where the problems are, maybe that's it. You've got lots of strangers mixing together in a confined space. That's going to be a tough nut to crack because, of course, they don't want to go back in any significant reopenings. But as I say, you could go at the hairdressers, you could go at the gyms, extend the booster vaccine program. You could be seen to be doing something, but will it have any effect? People really, what they say to me off air is close the schools. That's where things are happening. They're concerned about nightclubs and pubs. But anyway, we shall wait and see what they come up with. But they don't want historic egg on their faces if the worst case scenarios, as is being outlined by some, comes to pass. The government will not, because they're very conscious of their reputation as well, would not want to be seen to have been sitting on their hands. Irish motor did your insurance come down? We're being told that insurance has come down 15% over the last 2 years on average. When people contact us, and you could argue that people don't contact necessarily radio stations with good news, but we want good news. Bring us the good news and the good news stories. But we're being told that insurance has gone down about 15% over the last 2 years. I think 8% this year, 7% last year. Are you seeing that? Is that reflected in your policies? Well, Irish motor insurers last year enjoyed their highest level of profitability since at least 2009, as the level of road accidents or road traffic collisions and claims declined during COVID-19 restrictions, according to a Central Bank of Ireland report. The 163 million of operating profits generated by the industry amounted to 12% of total income in 2020, even as the average earned premiums declined by 7% last year, according to the third annual private motor insurance report. These profits swell to 307 million when 144 million of profits ceded to reinsurers, mostly related companies owned by their overseas partners, are included. The higher figure means the industry generated a profit equating to 22% of total income, which is a decent return, isn't it? As I say, did your premiums go down? I'm not so sure they did. Right, what's going up, though, is the cost of groceries. Grocery prices have reached their highest level since March of this year, and the cost of everyday goods is expected to continue to increase, the Irish Daily Mail tells us. New figures from data company Kantar showed grocery inflation stands at 0.9% for the 12-week period ending October 31. Despite the rise, Irish shoppers spent 86.1 million less on groceries in October compared with the equivalent period last year. So we're eating less, or we're eating out more. Last month saw the further lifting of COVID restrictions, including a return to office-based working. The ongoing growth of online grocery shopping, which accelerated when shoppers were locked down at home, shows no sign of slowing down, as sales grew by 2.2% last month. And there you can see an example perhaps of the knock-on effect of, if the government say today, which they will, that people, where possible, should work from home. People not working from home, they spent €86.1 million less on groceries. So that's going into your cafes, that's going into your delis and all that type of stuff. Not all of it, but it gives a really good indication of the economic consequence for Irish business if people are advised to work from home. But Micheál Martin so far has said that he's not thinking of introducing a lockdown on people who are unvaccinated or non-vaccinated, a measure the Austrian government has introduced this week. This is in the Sun. Now, we're going to be speaking to someone in Austria to see what the reaction is over there, because you can imagine people would be in uproar. People talk here of discrimination and two-tier society in Austria, and it's probably going to be seen elsewhere as well. It's very much the vaccinated and the non-vaccinated as it relates to COVID. Speaking yesterday, the Taoiseach said, "I will look with interest on how Austria implement that. I don't anticipate us going down that route. We have 93 or 94% vaccinated. They are in a different situation. I think they're at 64 or 65% vaccinated." Now, remember, people on this contact this programme and said the rules about vaccine search an absolute disgrace. I went up to Belfast and there's no masks. You can do what you like and it's fantastic. And the Republic of Ireland it's draconian, tyrannical laws, and I says that's fine. Yes, that might be what you feel, but it's coming. It's coming to Northern Ireland, and it'll be coming to Britain as well. And it seems that's what's actually happening, because Stormont Health Minister Robin Swan has called for the phased introduction of mandatory vaccine passports in Northern Ireland. Mr. Swan said he would be seeking support for the proposal tomorrow, adding, "I think now is the time for the phased introduction of COVID certification in Northern Ireland." I think that's the conversation that we'll be having at the executive in regards to the timing of the introduction of those regulations, but also the phasing in of what settings we would now consider as well. Our view as a Department of Health is that we should be using all the tools that are in our options to use. So that is a fait accompli. You can be sure it'll be in restaurants, nightclubs, cinemas, that type of thing. You would think, wouldn't you, that Westlife are loaded, raking in the cash. You might have heard Nicky Byrne on radio and go, "Oh, he must love radio because he must have made so much money from Westlife that he never needs to work again." But probably not the case, according to the Irish Daily Mirror, because Westlife secured global fame in the 1990s, but despite a lucrative €4 million record contract, the band claimed they failed to cash in on their success. Mark Feely, Nicky Byrne, Shane Filan and Cian Egan said they netted £20,000 each. That's €23,600 each from 5 album releases after costs were deducted from producing them. Nicky told Smooth Radio, "We had to pay management commission, then divide the rest by 5, and then you've got taxes. So you're coming out with at least €200,000. What we didn't know was the €4 million we spent on 5 albums. We got £20,000, although they've gone on to earn more." Nicky previously told the Irish Independent none of them are absolutely minted, but I suppose by what metric? Lovely big houses anyway, down in Sligo. And finally, what do you think of Met Éireann and the service they provide? I thought their weather forecasts, although I'm not reliant on them, like I'm not a sailor, I'm not a farmer or a fisherman, I'm not sure that those industries necessarily always get their advice from Met Éireann, but some people aren't happy. One irate member of the public who complained to Met Éireann about the quality of their weather forecasts urged the forecaster to sack the staff and buy a few robots. Among the complaints to Met Éireann this year was the email which was unhappy with its weather forecasting over the summer months. Under the subject rainfall, the emailer on July 27 last stated, "What a lot of nonsense, you shower of buffoons predicting for the East Coast. For years you lot are getting away with nonsense talk. Sack the staff and buy a few robots. BBC weather for me. It's a beautiful late night. Snap out of it, clans." In another complaint, a farmer told Met Éireann that deforecasting is absolutely rubbish. In the email dated June 14 last, the farmer said, "Hello, just have to voice my anger at yesterday's forecast. We were trying to make our hay in County Offaly, which was forecast very warm and dry. But the farmer said we had no sun at all and it was cool. Also, it lashed rain here. The forecasting is absolutely rubbish. All farmers had to wrap the hay with plastic yesterday evening. What the F is wrong with the weather forecasts lately? Completely wrong." Again, Met Éireann, which is adding serious expense and stress to us all. "I'm trying very hard not to use very bad language here," he said. And another complainant, living in the northwest of the country up here, on July 12th, emailed Met Éireann to state, "I often check your website to see what the weather is not going to be like. I regularly sit here by the window looking out at the opposite of what you forecast is telling me. It would be doing on the screen in front of me as I'm right now. Farmers here laugh when I tell them what site I get my weather information from. Several saying that you only really concerned yourselves with the weather in the Dublin and the East." With Dublin and the East. So that's what a few people opined to Met Éireann. All right, what do you think? 086 60 25,000, WhatsApps and texts 07491 25,000. 07491 25,000. Right, we'll be back with more after this quick break.
The newspapers are courtesy of Kelly Centra, Mountaintop, Letterkenny. Today's 9 till noon show is brought to you in association with Ulster Tyres. Get your tyres ready for winter. Call in to Ulster Tyres in Letterkenny and Ballybuffet today.
Niall lives on a hill, a very steep hill, which is great for the calf muscles, but when it comes to squeezing in and out of that parking space between the neighbours' pride and joy, Niall begins to worry.
I wonder if they use recycled plastic to make all their recycling bins.
In the new Dacia Duster with automatic gearbox and hill start assist, at least hills are nothing to worry about. And from only €45 per week on the road, nor is the price. Visit the Dacia sales event from the 18th to the 20th of November. Don't worry. Be Duster. Offer made under a hire purchase agreement. Terms and conditions apply. See dacia.ie.
At Boots, our biggest ever Black Friday event is now on with a whole month of amazing deals. This week, incredible better than half price savings on some of your favourite brands, including Number 7, Soap and Glory and Marc Jacobs, now available with many more deals in-store and online. Boots, bags of joy. Selected stores offer in 16th November. See boots.ie for details.
Hello, Farmer Tenny here from Tenny's Toys. Loads of top quality toys and models in stock. Everything from electric ride-on toys from the likes of Peg Parago and Razor to go-karts from Dino and miniature figurines from Schleich. We're Ireland's largest farm toy superstore, right in your doorstep here in Letterkenny. Oh, and online at tennystoys.com with express delivery. Savings Club now open with a wee deposit securing any item. Down by.
Calling all brides-to-be, McElhenney's early Black Friday bridal sale has just been announced with up to 70% off selected designer gowns in store for 1 week only from the 15th of November. Book your appointment today. Call 074 91 31217 and find your happily ever after dress at McElhenney's Bridal Rooms.
Northern Ireland's premier Christmas event, the Enchanted Winter Garden, returns to the award-winning Antrim Castle Gardens from Saturday 27th of November until Tuesday the 21st of December. This outdoor Christmas extravaganza has a dazzling array of festive attractions to capture the magic of Christmas. Be enchanted by the stunning illuminations, the spectacular Wonderland Wood, live music, festive fare and the Big Wheel. Why not make your visit extra special with a staycation or dinner? Check out our special offers and book your tickets at enchantedwintergarden.com. Sponsored by Belfast International Airport.
Throughout Ireland, change is happening. Together we can build a community of support to empower those living with dementia. Highland Radio, proud to support Dementia Understand Together. Brought to you by the HSC.
At Letterkenny Shopping Centre, we're already dreaming about the festive season, so why not make a start? Park for free and enjoy your Christmas shopping this year. Letterkenny Shopping Centre, bringing you the time at
9:21. Carmel, good morning to you.
Hi there, Greg.
How are you keeping?
Well, if I said I was angry, that would be an understatement, but other than that, hanging in.
All right, then. Tell us the story. 4 weeks ago, you were diagnosed with breast cancer, a big shock to the system, of course, and the treatment process was due to start. Carmel, pick up the story wherever you want to.
Well, I was diagnosed 3 weeks ago tomorrow.
Mm-hmm.
I went up to Galway, got the diagnosis, and my surgery was scheduled for yesterday morning.
Mm-hmm.
So, breast check have been fantastic. Galway University Hospital was brilliant. They organised that I would go for my COVID test at Letterkenny University Hospital on Saturday morning, which I had done after 9 a.m. I asked both nurses that were there, what happens now? They said, unless that you get a contact from us, you're clear, go right ahead to Galway. And the nurse that was doing the paperwork actually checked my phone number. She took it down and checked what she had.
Mm-hmm.
I had to get somebody to drive me to Galway. That had to take 2 days off work. Off I went to Galway, presented yesterday morning at 7:30 a.m. And I was taken into a side room and asked me, why was I there? Knocked me down. Anyway, cut a long story short, they told me I was COVID positive. Well, I almost passed out because I'm an ex-nurse. I'm doubly vaccinated, and I had my booster shot 2 weeks past on Friday.
Right, so you've had all three.
Pardon?
You've had all three?
Yes, and as of this minute, right now, I have yet to get a call or a text message from University Hospital Letterkenny to tell me that I'm positive. I am so annoyed at them.
Right, we'll talk more about that in a second, but I mean, I presume, Carmel, or maybe with your medical background, you might think things slightly differently, but it takes, you build yourself up, don't you, for that trip to Galway and everything that is to follow in that procedure. I can only imagine what it must have felt like when they say, what are you doing here?
What I tell you, Greg, I was very positive about this whole handling because everything was rolling on. There was no time being wasted. I was up for it. Talk about today. I'm devastated. I'm totally broken. I'm deflated. And now I have been told, well, yesterday I had to get the test done again in Galway because I argued the point that I couldn't be positive, to be told, yes, I am positive.
So 2 tests have told you that you're positive, Carmel?
Yeah, well, yeah. So it's going to be another 4 to 6 weeks waiting for surgery.
How are you feeling generally in terms of the COVID positivity?
Greg,
I mean, do you feel sick?
Absolutely nothing. I haven't a pain or an ache. I have a cough, but that's a chronic cough. And I'm actually waiting for 2 years to see a respiratory consultant in Letterkenny General Hospital because of COVID. It was held up. And would you believe it? I have an appointment for them this week, which I'm going to have to cancel.
Oh, my word. That's unbelievable.
Yeah.
Carmel, do you believe that you have COVID, or have you been thinking on whether or not it's flagging because of the 3 vaccines, or do you have a theory in that regard?
Well, I know my immunity is through the roof because of all the vaccines that I've had.
Yeah.
And I mean, 2 lab tests, you can't argue with that.
True.
I do have COVID symptoms. Okay. I possibly can pass it on, but I don't have any, I'm not experiencing any symptoms myself.
Right. If you had been, this would have been a very difficult situation in any case, but if you had have been called, that number of yours was checked, if you'd have been called before leaving for Galway when you'd got yourself all built up for this, it might not be quite as bad as you're feeling right now, maybe.
Well, I guess as regards to cancer, thanks be to God, I'm feeling pretty good.
Okay.
I'm not in extreme pain or anything like that. So from a physical health point of view, I was pretty fit to make the journey. From a psychological point of view, I was in a good place in my own head. And I wasn't worrying about getting there. I had all that planned out. Devastating for me. What about some poor old person that wouldn't be in the same position as myself? I think it's bloody well disgraceful to carry on what's going on up in that hospital. Their mission statement tells you that they're delivering care based on excellence in clinical practice, teaching and research, grounded in kindness, compassion and respect. Well, you know what? If I was talking to the manager up there, I would tell him he would need to rewrite that today.
Now,
because that's certainly not what I'm experiencing.
Another thing too, obviously, the way we line these things up in our mind, Carmel, you probably said, right, we'll go down to Galway, we'll get this out of the way, I'll recoup myself, hopefully we'll recoup, and then, we'll be in fine form for Christmas, hopefully, you know what I mean, and be able to enjoy Christmas 2021. By the sounds of things, this pushes all this back very close to Christmas. Does that bother you?
Well, they had a plan of care in place for me, which they gave me. They told me they're going in, they were doing an operation. I didn't need a mastectomy at this time. They were hopeful that I wasn't going to need chemotherapy, but I definitely was going to need radiation, which was going to be administered in Galvin and Derry, which I was very happy about.
Okay.
So I was good to go. Now, I have to wait another 4 to 6 weeks. I don't know how that is going to physically affect me, how it's going to affect me in my own head. I don't know. But right now, I'm not in a great place.
No. And how could you be? Can you explain to me what's making you so angry about it? Is it everything, Carmel, or what has that sort of anger in you? Is it how? Is it not
Greg,
the contact? Is it how you
Greg,
treat? Yes.
Listening to your show every day, I be saying to myself, God damn that man, always talking about his bloody COVID, right?
Mm-hmm.
Fair enough, fair duty, that's fine. COVID, COVID, COVID. It's even on this morning there before I came on air about COVID and what have you. Letterkenny General Hospital has a positive patient who's going to Galway, whom I can transmit to somebody else. Yet no, they can't notify me that I'm positive. I'm angry at that. I have to go around all my contacts and let them know, which aren't very many, because since I found out I was having the surgery, I was self-isolating at home.
Mm-hmm.
So that's why I was gobsmacked that it was positive.
And also
God
the
knows
person
who
you were in
else is infected.
the person you were in the car with, and
Well, yeah, he has a test booked for this morning. He's off work till he gets the results of it.
yeah, again,
And my own family.
and it's not just you that's affected by this. Obviously, Carmel, it is the whole family. It's everyone, because everyone is building up to Carmel heading to Galway and the start of that process, and it's everything's knocked back.
We're all individuals, but we don't stand alone.
No.
We have family around us, and I mean they're all devastated as well. My son's devastated.
Mm-hmm.
It's just, the lack of a phone call. I know I'm a PCN number up in Letterkenny General Hospital. They obviously don't give two damns about notifying me about whether I'm positive, negative, or anything else.
Mm-hmm.
The ripple effect from that lack of a phone call, it's unbelievable. And you know what? I wonder how many other people have been deemed positive up there that haven't been told either.
When you say you were told to, unless you get a phone call, head on to Galway, was that in Letterkenny you were told that, or down from Galway?
I was told that when the young lady took my COVID test on Saturday morning.
Mm-hmm.
I said to her, I'd never been in there to have this done before. So I asked her, what was the procedure? What happens now? The other lady checked my number, checked all my date of birth and all the rest of it, and she said, unless you hear from us, you head on to Galway. And I'm still waiting, and this is Tuesday morning.
Unbelievable. All right, Carl.
Yes, no, the test that I got done yesterday in Galway, a text message came through to me at 7 o'clock this morning to tell me that was a positive test 20 hours later. So Letterkenny takes 4 days. I'm still waiting.
That's unbelievable. All right.
I would like to know where is the accountability for this? Who's going to be held accountable? I would hate to think that somebody else is going to suffer the same nonsense that I'm suffering. There seems to be no accountability up there. It's a disgrace.
And as you said, even with everything you're going through, your concern is how would it affect someone else who didn't quite have the same mindset of you as you? How big of a setback or a shock or a devastation would it be for them? Someone who was older or had less of a family structure around them. You seem to have a solid structure around you, but not everyone enjoys that, Carmel.
No, I know. And it's somebody old, frail, maybe in a worse physical condition than myself. It's no joke driving up there for 4 hours, driving back down. Mm-hmm. I mean, I was devastated yesterday coming down that road. I couldn't speak.
I can imagine. Okay, well, listen, we'll put an inquiry in and see what the story is. If you get that text message or contact, you might let us know, Carmel, because people will be...
I wouldn't hold my breath waiting on that for 4 days, Greg, anyway, I'll tell you that.
Yeah, and it is 4 days, actually. Saturday morning,
Saturday,
Sunday morning,
Sunday, Monday, Tuesday. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So when are you hoping to get down for the surgery now? How long did you say it will be? 2 or 3 weeks?
Well, I was talking to Breast Check yesterday before I came up the road.
Yeah.
So they have a conference every week again about all their clients and what have you.
Mm.
So because I'm COVID positive, I have to wait exactly 4 weeks. But they may not be able to schedule me for the 4 weeks, so they said anywhere between 4 and 6 weeks.
Yeah. Okay. The best of luck, Carmel. Stay in touch with us. We'll make our inquiries, obviously, and I mean, you're a former nurse. You know the story. You know the ins and outs. You know the code of practice. There's nothing I can tell you in that regard. But I just wish you the very best going forward, Carmel.
Thanks very much. Thanks for your airtime.
And I'm sorry for talking about COVID so much. I really am.
No.
I really am, but we really have pared it back an awful lot. But in just with the environment and the decisions that they're going to make, it's just unavoidable. I would love to be talking about anything else.
I'm not slitting you at all. I'm not slitting you, Sergio.
I know you're not. I'm just saying.
It's just that everybody is so COVID conscious. It's so out in your face. And they think that this is allowed to happen, you know.
Yeah. Come here, stay strong and stay in touch with us. Is there anything we can do for you? I can't imagine what it could be, but it was lovely speaking to you, and I just hope things get sorted as soon as is possible, Carmel.
Thank you very much.
All right, God bless you. Take care. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Thanks, Carmel, and best wishes to the family. Councillor Michael McClafferty, good morning to you.
Good morning, Greg.
What say you? Listen to Carmel there. What's your view?
Well, first of all, I just want to wish Carmel all the best on her journey ahead, whatever it entails, and hope it all comes to a successful ending for her when things get sorted out. But setting that aside, Greg, it's listening to her there this morning, pouring in her heart, her story there for the rest of us listening on. It's a total disaster. There's clearly something wrong here with the testing regime. Clearly, as Carmel's prime example there today, waiting 4 days later, still no word from where she mentioned there. She went to Galway, like she got tested 2 tests, and they both showed positive. We have one of our leaders then heading to Scotland. Then one day he's positive, the next day he's okay to get in a plane. Like, what's that all about?
What are you implying there? Are you implying that? Well, Carmel did get 2 tests. Unfortunately, both come back positive. What's the connection to the Eamon Ryan there? Are you saying that you don't think his second test was actually negative, or what?
Well, I can only go by what we're told in the media. We can only go by what we're told. Like, I mean, it highlights the fact. Can we trust the testing system at all, Greg, right across the board, regardless who's getting tested?
Well, in fairness, Carmel's a former nurse, and she trusts it, Michael. Now, I'm not trying to knock heads with you, but
that's fair enough, Greg.
I think what her problem is and this is, it does talk to your point about maybe failures in the testing system. She wasn't told she was positive. She loaded up the car. She got herself as best as you can emotionally prepared for the start of that treatment journey, and then was sent home from down there. So certainly there is problems with the testing system. I think we can agree on that.
There is problems, because I mean, obviously, clearly when she got tested at Letterkenny, she pointed out, obviously it must have, well, I presume it showed, it was clear like when she was let go, but the point is still, she doesn't know either way because they haven't come back. But I would imagine if it was positive, they would have wave the flag straight away and hold on, there's a problem here. That's what I'm saying. Like.
Yeah, that is the problem, and that is the problem. She was positive. That test was positive. It just was not communicated to her. She wasn't called or texted, and she headed to Galway because that's what she was told to do. And Galway knew she was positive, but she left Letterkenny presuming if I haven't been contacted, I'm not positive. And therein lies the problem. But I take your point as it's another situation. Tag it in with the Eamon Ryan situation. People's faith in that testing system will be further eroded. Isn't that what you're saying in a nutshell, really?
Well, it is. Like, we'll set Carmel's situation aside at the minute, and hopefully that'll all be resolved quite swiftly for her. But going back to the Eamon Ryan thing, I know down our way when that happened, Greg, that weekend, the start of the following week, people are totally up in arms about it.
Oh, it did more. It did more to damage and I said it on this program. It did more to damage faith in the testing system than anything that went before it, because it felt like, I'm not saying it's what happened, it felt like we've a politician, the Green politician in government, he wants to go over to COP and make his statements and meet the press. He got a positive test, and lo and behold, the HSE flag about 20 tests a month out of hundreds of thousands, and his just happened to be one that was flagged for being inconclusive. He gets another test, it's negative, and off he trots to Glasgow. And it doesn't even matter if everything is above board, and let's presume it is. It's how it looks, and it looks terrible.
It's how it looks, and listen, if Eamon Ryan's heart was really with the people, whatever the inconclusive was or so on, he could have gladly said that, look, it's not right, but just for the sake of the people and my heart with the people, I'm going to stay at home. He did not need to get in that plane and go and cause all the as you say, lots of heart that people have lost now in the faith and the testing system. If he was really showing real leadership, if he's really interested, he could have stayed at home, because he'll have advisors and whatnot going on in Scotland, and seconds is one thing and another, aides that would have put his points across, and the escape and whatnot. He didn't need to go himself in person, because it's just wrecked people's face and the system as far as it goes that way, to be honest.
All right, Councillor McCaffrey, thank you very much indeed. Some of your comments on Facebook. Celia says, absolutely disgraceful. I feel so sorry for that lady, and doesn't have very kind words then to say about Letterkenny University Hospital. Caroline also watching us on Facebook. I'll bet you'll not get anyone to come on and explain this. Absolutely disgraceful. She says, and nobody will be held accountable. And the conversation is continuing there via text. Heartbreaking. That poor woman is the simple message from one person. And from your family, Carmel, and you'll know who they are. They're your cousins. They say, we are here for you. Stay strong, cousin. We love you. Which is a lovely message for Carmel. Okay, we are going to be back talking about a situation in Inishowen after these.
Today's 9 till noon show is brought to you in association with Ulster Tyres. Get your tyres winter ready. Drop in to Ulster Tyres in Letterkenny and Ballybuffet today.
Buy a ticket! Buy a ticket in Highland Radio's mega draw to win a car! Get your ticket by November 30th and automatically enter an extra draw before the big draw. Big draw! One lucky winner will walk away with €2,000. Imagine, that's Christmas all wrapped up. Christmas sorted. The draw will take place on Wednesday, December 1st on the 9 till noon show. 9 till noon. And you're still in with a chance to win the Kia X-Ceed worth over €28,000. 28 grand.
It's that simple to win that car.
To get your ticket, log on to highlandradio.com. Highland Radio, exceeding your expectations.
No matter how busy we are, how can we make the most of our lives each day? By spending quality time together or spending time giving back? However you spend each day with Debit MasterCard, spend it doing what matters most to you. Because a life well spent is truly priceless. Learn more at mastercard.ie.
It's the Right Price Tiles and Wood Flooring 70% off sale. Get up to 70% off on all your purchases. Up to 70% off all tiles, all wood flooring, all bathware. Everything's reduced in store. The 70% off sale at Right Price Tiles and Wood Flooring. Stores nationwide. Sale now on.
Winter, cold nights, wet mornings, ice. More reason to change your tyres. At Sheehan Duffy Tyres, we have a large range of winter and all-season tyres to suit all cars and budgets. Sheehan Duffy Tyres Ballybuffet, keeping you safe this winter. Open 6 days per week with a 24-hour emergency call-out service.
At Cherrymore Kitchens and Bedrooms, we are now operating out of one new state-of-the-art showroom in Donegal Town. And we invite you to visit our new 5,000 square foot Donegal Town showroom to discover the latest eye-catching designs. Remember, at Cherrymore, you're dealing directly with the manufacturer, which means high-quality kitchens at factory prices. Start planning your dream kitchen or bedroom by calling Cherrymore on 074 9725 822. Cherrymore, 25 years delivering value, quality and service all over Ireland.
It's the perfect Christmas gift. A ticket to the Remembering Joe show starring Ben Dolan and the Dolan family with the original Joe Dolan band at the Mount Errigal Hotel, Letterkenny on Tuesday, December 28th. Book now at the Mount Errigal 074 9122 700.
The big Christmas lights switch on in Letterkenny is this Friday the 19th. From 6:30 there's entertainment on the stage at Market Square, treats from businesses along Main Street, the big switch on, and then the arrival of Santa on his sleigh. It's a great evening for all the family this Friday at the Letterkenny Christmas Lights Switch On. See the Shop LK socials for details.
And you're very welcome back to the programme. We are joined on it now by Councillor Rena Donaghy. Thanks for joining us, Rena. Good to have you on the programme.
Thank you, Greg. Good morning.
Right, now, we were speaking to a grandmother yesterday who was angry and upset. Her grandson used to avail of the services of Cashel, and I don't know if you heard any of the conversation, but just to remind listeners, he's upset, newly upset every single day because there's a routine involved there, and it's all very, very upsetting. And also, this young lad is he's not young, he's in his 20s, is, according to his grandmother's, regressing now because he's not getting access to these services. What is going on at Cashel We've spoken to you before about this. What have you any news for us?
Yeah, I have a bit of good news, but obviously there's an awful lot of work, more work to be done, Greg. As you know, Cashel is a centre in Buncrana, and it's used to provide daycare services for people with disabilities. And we have a few other day services offered throughout Inishowen as well. So the delivery of day services was severely curtailed during the initial 6 months of COVID, the COVID pandemic. When the centre did reopen, then people were obviously and understandably a bit afraid to send their carees to it in case they would get COVID. But they're all vaccinated and that now, and they would be in their own bubbles. But there was COVID positives in another centre in Inishowen. And because it was a residential centre, the staff were deployed from Cashel to work in the other centre because some of the staff had COVID as well. So 3 centres had been closed down, Cashel and 2 others. At the time, I asked what if that would happen again. And unfortunately, 2 weeks later, the same thing happened again. A COVID outbreak, staff all taken from Cashel and the other 2 centres to keep the residential centre open. And we all understand that obviously the residential centre, it's very important that that's kept open as well. But I can't understand why staff would be taken from centres that have no COVID positives or outbreaks, completely healthy. And Cashel houses 42 people. So that's a big number of families affected throughout the whole of the Inishowen Peninsula. And the recruitment seems to be the problem.
Yes, but do we need to investigate more the management decision in that? And these people are, it's not the staff, I'm sure, but the management decision to take staff away from one centre to another. Like, are we doing a benefit analysis? In other words, the terrible impact this is going to have on the 42 families that you mentioned at Cashel versus the benefit of, moving these staff, as you say, moving staff around centres. Maybe that's why it's closed for such a long period of time when COVID is present in one of them. I think you have concerns with that. But in other words, are we getting enough of an explanation about this? You know what I mean? Can staff not come from somewhere else to maintain services at all of these premises?
Yeah, that's how it should be. And that's how it used to be. And it's ridiculous what's happened. It's absolutely ridiculous. And the good news is that the centre will be opening from next week. Cashel and the other centres will be opening from next week, albeit only for 2 days a week, not for 5 days. And a lot of these carees are highly challenged and need to be in the centre 5 days per week. Yes, 2 days is a start, but it needs to be open 5 days to week, 5 days. And we are talking about priority ones, and some of the priority ones are in at the minute. But in my opinion, anybody that needs to attend these day centres are all priority one. They're there for a reason. They're there because they can't be looked after at home. And anyway, they're only away from home from maybe 9:30 in the morning until 4. It's a short day for the carers at home, the break. They have them then from 4:30 onwards for the rest of the day. So, and I know that in the recruitment process, people are being taken from the same pot as SNAs. And most people prefer a 9-to-4 job rather than work in the residential centres. But why is there such a short staff? It's ridiculous.
It's not I know the island's call that the government had at the start of all of this was maybe to do with acute care and what have you. Are we satisfied? Can we be satisfied? I think the answer to this has to be no, that every effort had been made to have enough staff in reserve, to have enough people on call to maintain a level of service. Is this happening anywhere else, or is it just in Inishowen, for example? Do you know what I mean? Is this another example of Inishowen getting unfair treatment compared to other parts of the county or country?
Yeah, well, incidentally, I had a phone call the day before yesterday from a person, I'll not say the area because I don't want to identify them, but they had been in a school in Buncrana until they were 18. They have very special needs as well. And then they went to another centre in Inishowen. Now they have been asked just recently, would they move to Letterkenny? So obviously they have spaces in Letterkenny, unlike Inishowen. The whole thing is absolutely ridiculous. It's ridiculous. And I said to the girl, don't move to Letterkenny. Why should you move to Letterkenny when we have plenty of spaces in Inishowen that are just not fully staffed?
Yeah, some people listening to that will think, is that sort of the beginning of centralisation? We'd certainly hope that's not the case. It's important that these services are available in the community and available consistently in this area as much as any, because we talked yesterday to the grandmum who talked of, and lots of people understand this, the routine, the familiarity that can be very important at times as well. But you're telling us from next week it's reopening for 2 days a week.
Yes, it's reopening, and thank God for that, at least. It is opening next week for 2 days.
Okay, well, listen, and any indication as to what it will take to open the service full-time again?
No, that's the question I'm asking consistently, and I will certainly not let this go. The centre needs to be opened. This is an excellent centre, and all of the users will tell you that it is an excellent centre, and there's no reason why this should not be open on a 5-day-week basis.
Yeah, okay, listen, thank you very much indeed. Councillor Rena Donaghy there. Cashel and Core closed for 4 weeks. It's opening from next week for 2 days per week, but still, I just would prefer a more detailed explanation as to the thinking and the analysis of moving staff around, as was described there by the councillor.
Today's 9 till noon show is brought to you in association with Ulster Tyres. Winter is coming. Get your tyres winter ready. Call in to Ulster Tyres in Letterkenny and Ballybuffet today.
Do you currently have vacancies that need urgently filled? Do you require temporary staff for the Christmas period? Have you tried various ways to find new staff but didn't succeed? Let Highland Radio help you source and fill your current vacancies in the most cost-effective way. Simply sign up to our new job spot and we will tell our 70,000 daily listeners about your vacancies. Every Monday, Wednesday and Friday during our primetime shows, we will broadcast the latest job opportunities across the Northwest and into counties Derry and Tyrone. For more information, contact the advertising team on 07491 25322 or email advertising@highlandradio.com. Highland Radio, we're here for you.
Do you suffer from high cholesterol, menopause symptoms, digestive issues, anxiety, aches and pains, or a lack of energy? The highly trained team at The Natural Way Letterkenny can provide advice on natural remedies for a number of individual health issues. The Natural Way also has its own brand of herbal treatments to help fight fatigue, relieve digestive discomfort, maintain a healthy immune system, and alleviate common menopause symptoms. The Natural Way at Letterkenny Shopping Centre, your one-stop health shop.
Hi, Raymond Sweeney here from Ben Sweeney Euronics. For heading off to college, a good Chromebook or laptop is essential, and we've got a great selection available in store, including the HP 14-inch touchscreen Chromebook with a 360-degree flip screen for only €419, or the HP 15.6-inch Pavilion touchscreen laptop with 1 year of Microsoft Office free for only €479. See these and other great offers at Ben Sweeney Euronics in Letterkenny and Dunlow.
From yoga to HIIT training, women's only weights and Pilates, you'll find a range of classes to help you on your fitness journey this winter in Inish Fitness at the Waterfront Hotel Dunlow. All classes are open to the public and 4-week programmes are available. For prices and timetables, see inishfitness.ie or call 074 95 22 590. There's also 10% discount on memberships this month with 20% discount for students. Day passes available. Inish Fitness, the future of fitness in West Donegal.
Connect Hearing are offering a free hearing test at the Courtyard Shopping Centre Letterkenny and Dunlow Clinic.
We also offer a home visit service for test, wax removal and repairs, perfect for those who are unable to visit our centres. Are you struggling to hear the TV or radio? We have the solution. Our wireless devices can be connected to both your TV and phone. With the latest in technology, coupled with a first-class repair and service facility, call us today on 074 91 13296. Connect Hearing, connecting you to life.
Highland Radio weather updates with National Fuels, delivering home heating oil to Letterkenny and the surrounding areas at competitive prices. National Fuels, 9137 400.
Okay, cloudy with rain and drizzle becoming persistent through the morning. The rain will clear eastwards later in the day with drier and cooler conditions to follow. Breezy too, with moderate to fresh southwest winds, strong on coasts, veering westerly as the rain clears. Highest temperatures of 11 or 12 degrees. Now, we're joined on the programme by Patricia Gerlich, who is from East Tyrone, but living in Austria now for 40 years. Good morning to you, Patricia.
Good morning.
It's great to have you on the programme, and a very good morning to you. Right now, what is the situation in Austria? A lockdown for the non-vaccinated is how it's being described over here. Is that what it is?
Yes, it came into effect yesterday, and it means that people who haven't got the 3G rule, which is geimpft, getestet, genesen, or vaccinated, tested, and recovered, they have certain restrictions. They're only allowed to leave their homes if they need to buy essentials like food, or if they're going to school or university, if they're going to work, or if they go to a doctor or chemist. If they have to care for people, they're allowed to go for walks or to get physical exercise. They're allowed to go to the bank or the employment office, for example. They're allowed to go to church or mosque, whatever, and they're allowed to go to the graveyard. And of course, if their life is in danger, they have to leave. They can leave their house.
But socially, really, in terms of cinemas, cafes, bars, supermarkets, just strolling around a shopping centre, that's a no-no.
Exactly.
And in terms of
in
terms of enforcement and what have you, how because obviously you can't check everyone, so presumably it'll be spot checks. What's the procedure there?
There will be spot checks, and these are carried out by the police. We have to have our green passport, and the first fine is 500 euros if a person has gone shopping, for example, and doesn't have, shopping's allowed actually. But
I know what you mean. If they're going outside the rules, and if they refuse to sort of, maybe they might quote common law or refuse to engage with police or whatever it might be. We see a bit of that here. That's also finable. €500 fine. They've already thought of that.
The first fine is 500 euros, but if they refuse to work with the police, then it can go up to 1,450 euros or more.
Now, a lot of people over there are not vaccinated. They will not be happy about this. Has there been any demonstrations or anything being planned? And what's the authorities' attitude to that?
Yeah, well, there's a demonstration planned in Vienna on the 20th of November. And yes, a lot of they do protest, and they want to protest. They have protested already in Vienna and again next Saturday. And I must say that the leader of the Freedom Party, Herbert Kickl, tested positive yesterday for COVID-19, and some members of his family. He has to go into quarantine for 2 weeks, and he's disappointed that he cannot join the demonstration in Vienna against the corona stipulations.
Bit of an irony in there somewhere, I'd imagine. He'll adhere to those rules, but not the others. That leaves him in a bit of a situation, does it?
Yes.
Okay. How what is there? Is this driving anyone to the vaccination centres, Patricia? Because that's what it's about. Let's call it as it is.
Yes. In the areas, for example, in Upper Austria, where the incidence of COVID-19 is very high, there was a surge yesterday to get vaccinated.
Okay.
And will probably be the case everywhere.
And do you have a view personally on this? Do you think it's the right thing to do, or I'm just wondering what the general population think?
Yeah, well, I think a person has I have been vaccinated twice, and I haven't got the COVID-19. But I think that people should have a personal choice. And if they, for example, if they live alone, then let them live alone, keep away from other people. But with 2 million people, and especially with people who have children, for example, it's going to be difficult to stick to all these rules and not get the disease.
And at what is the ceiling? What's the vaccination ceiling before they review this? Once you go down this road, it's very hard to turn back from a government's point of view. Patricia, thank you very much for your time. I really appreciate it.
Till the 24th of November, these rules.
Right, we'll see. Okay, thanks, Patricia. That is Patricia Gerlich there from East Tyrone, living in Austria for 40 years, just giving us an insight into the rules there. It's time for us to take a break for the news and obituary notices, which will be just 1 minute late. My apologies. Rejoin us afterwards, or stay with us, and then you'll still be with us then when it's all over. We'll speak to you just after 10.
Today's 9 till noon show is brought to you in association with Ulster Tyres. Are your tyres ready for winter? Call into Ulster Tyres in Letterkenny and Ballybuffet today.
Your to-do list. It's always pretty chock-a-block. There's the things from yesterday you never got around to yesterday, and the things for today you'll probably put off till tomorrow. But don't put off saving on your home energy bills. Go direct to energia.ie and switch to Energia's cheapest dual fuel bundle. Energia, the power behind your savings. EAB €1,926 based on average annual usage. 12-month contract, discounted unit rates, standing charge, PSO levy and carbon tax, T's and C's and early termination fee apply. Valid from October 2021 and subject to change. Verification and T's and C's at energia.ie/EAB.
Milford Tiles and Wood Flooring, Milford Retail Park now open. Large range of wall and floor tiles on display and in stock. Over 70 different laminate floors to suit every pocket. Tilers and wood fitters available. You're welcome to call in and have a look around. Milford Tiles and Wood Flooring, 083 091 0707.
Candles, lanterns, Christmas trees, decorations and all types of lights. Everything you need for Christmas. Experience the magic of Christmas at Cooney's. Our biggest and best Christmas shop has outstanding value on lights and trees. There really is something for everyone at Cooney's Letterkenny Retail Park.
Is your water safe to drink? If your water tastes unpleasant or has a foul smell, it may be a sign that something is in your water. Brothers Tech Donegal provide a complete private well water treatment service using the best water treatment equipment to meet your needs. Or maybe you drilled a new well and the water isn't satisfactory. At Brothers Tech, their expert team will also service existing problematic systems. If you're concerned about the quality of your water, call Brothers Tech on 087 638 7057.
Letterkenny IT's Open Day takes place on Thursday the 18th of November, both on campus and online. Whether you're a Leaving Cert student, a graduate or considering a return to education, there's lots of choice at Letterkenny IT. Visit the campus, explore the exceptional facilities and meet academic and student support staff on the day. If you can't make it to campus, then join online, take a virtual tour, watch live talks and ask your questions. That's Letterkenny IT's Open Day on Thursday the 18th of November, on campus and online. Visit lyit.ie/Open Day for more information.
Live, on air, online and on the Highland Radio app. This is Highland Radio News.
Good morning, it's 10 o'clock. I'm Catherine Gaffney. The Taoiseach says the COVID situation will get worse before it gets better. NPHET is warning up to 500 people with the virus could be in ICU by next month in a worst case scenario, and over 200 in the best case. Ministers have also been given new advice to offer booster vaccines to over 50s and people with underlying conditions. Speaking on his way into Cabinet, Taoiseach Micheál Martin says quick action is needed to ease the pressure on hospitals.
Case numbers are very high, and the
the numbers then that inevitably will end up in hospital increases with that. So, we've got to make decisions today, but also I think collectively as a society we've got to look out for each other and just be very aware that the situation is getting worse and will get worse before it gets better.
A woman who was due to have a cancerous lump removed in Galway today is hit out at Letterkenny University Hospital over an alleged miscommunication in her positive COVID test. Carmel was diagnosed with breast cancer 3 weeks ago and has received both COVID-19 vaccines and a booster jab. Carmel travelled to Galway on Sunday night, but when she arrived to the hospital, she was told by staff there she was COVID positive and to return home immediately. An emotional Carmel told today's 9 till noon show that Letterkenny University Hospital did not inform her personally of her positive result.
I was very positive about this whole handling because everything was rolling on. There was no time being wasted. I was up for it. Talk about today. I'm devastated. I'm totally broken. I'm deflated. And now I have been told. Well, yesterday I had to get the test done again in Galway because I argued the point that I couldn't be positive to be told, yes, I am positive.
Details will be revealed later on a long-awaited compensation scheme for survivors of mother and baby homes. The Children's Minister is bringing the package to Cabinet this morning for approval before it's published. It's understood the scheme is worth €800 million and will include access to an enhanced medical card. An action plan will also be announced on access to birth records. Profits made by insurance companies on their motor business increased last year, according to the central bank. A new central bank report shows there was a 26% drop in the number of claims made by drivers, while the amount paid out in claims to customers dropped by 20%. Director of Economic and Statistics at the central bank, Mark Cassidy, says the average operating profit across the industry was around 12%.
And that largely reflects the impact of COVID. So the most obvious impact of COVID was a very significant reduction in the number of injury and damage claims, down by 26%, whereas the pass-through to premiums meant that average premiums were down by around 7%. So taking those together meant a very good profitability situation overall for insurance.
And 2 demonstrations are taking place along the Donegal border this weekend to oppose the threat by the British government to trigger Article 16. Border communities against Brexit believe that recent statements from the UK government pose a direct threat to the peace process and are raising the prospect of a hard border in Ireland. The protests are getting underway on Saturday at 3 p.m. at Lifford Bridge and at Bridgend and in other areas along the border. Donegal spokesperson Tom Murray has been outlining some of their concerns.
There's over 40 million border crossings every year. There's 30,000 people every single day cross that border for work. So the integration of the economy, society and communities from north-south is fundamental to this island and has had nothing but benefits for both our social and economic growth. And it's very disingenuous and wrong of the Tories through masking problems in Britain and the British economy by playing with the protocol in this island.
Weather now cloudy with rain and drizzle becoming persistent throughout the morning. Highest temperatures of 11 or 12 degrees. That's it for now. We're back with the headlines for you at 11 o'clock. Until then, good morning. The obituary notices for Tuesday morning, the 16th of November. The death has occurred of John Keeney, Fintra Road, Killybegs, County Donegal. His remains are reposing at his late residence with removal tomorrow morning at 10:30 to St Mary of the Visitation Church, Killybegs, for 11 o'clock funeral mass. Burial afterwards in Glenty Cemetery. The mass will be streamed live on mcnmedia.tv. Family, flowers only please, donations in lieu, if desired, to the Donegal Hospice, care of any family member, or McBurty Funeral Directors. The house is strictly private, please. The death has occurred of Martin Holmes, Sandy Row, Castlefin. His remains are reposing at his late residence. Funeral from there tomorrow morning at 10:30, going to St Mary's Church, Castlefin. For 11 o'clock Requiem Mass with burial afterwards in the adjoining cemetery. Family flowers only, donations if desired to the Friends of Letterkenny Hospital, care of any family member or Kennedy's funeral directors. Family time please from 11 p.m. to 11 a.m. The death has occurred of Margaret Coyle, 30, White House Park, Derry, and formerly of County Fermanagh. Her remains are reposing at her home. Requiem Mass tomorrow morning at 11 o'clock in St. Mura's Church, Fawn, followed by interment in the adjoining cemetery. Margaret's Requiem Mass can be viewed on churchservices.tv. The wake is private to family and friends only, please. Family flowers only, please. Donations in lieu, if desired, to the Foyle Hospice, care of any family member or Murphy funeral directors. The death has occurred of Patsy Breslin, Aya Ardra. His remains are reposing at his late residence. Funeral from there this morning at 11:30, going to the Church of the Holy Family Ardra for 12 o'clock funeral mass. Interment afterwards in the adjoining cemetery. Donations, if desired, to Coronary Care, Letterkenny University Hospital, care of Derek McCabe, funeral director Ardra, or any family member. The death has occurred of Tommy Porter, Munyargan Ardra. His remains are reposing at McCabe's funeral premises in Ardra. Removal from there this afternoon at 2 o'clock, going to the Methodist Church Ardra for funeral service at 2:30. Interment afterwards in St. Connell's Churchyard, Ardra. Removal is private to family only, please. Donations, if desired, to church funds, care of Derek McCabe, funeral director Ardra, or any family member. The death has taken place of Kathleen McLaughlin, née Rowan, of Breda Glen, Moville. Funeral from her home this morning at 10:15. For 11 o'clock Requiem Mass in St. Mary's Church, Ballybrack, followed by burial in the adjoining graveyard. The funeral mass can be viewed live on seeitonline.ie. The house is private on the morning of the funeral, please. The death has taken place of James Toner, Drumdeven, Terman. James's remains are reposing at his late residence. Funeral from there today for mass at 12 noon in St. Columba's Church, Terman, followed by interment in the adjoining cemetery. The funeral mass can be viewed on the St. Columba's Church Terman Facebook page. Family flowers only, please. Donations, if desired, to the Donegal Hospice, care of any family member. And the death has taken place of Tom Hodginson, 408 Victoria Road, Ballymagorry, and formerly of Derry. Funeral service in his home today at 1 o'clock, with interment afterwards in Derry City Cemetery. For more details, including any family health guidelines for wakes and funerals, please go to highlandradio.com.
Black Tag Sale now on at Curry's PC World with amazing savings, like save a massive €500 on the LG American style fridge freezer with water dispenser, now only $999. Save €470 on the Sony 65-inch smart 4K Ultra HD TV, now just $1,679. And save €80 on the HP 15.6-inch laptop with AMD Ryzen 3 processor, now $449. Get in store or online at currys.ie.
And you're very welcome back to the second hour of the 9 till noon show. Just a reminder for you that you can win a brand new car here on Highland Radio, or $2,000 in cash, or both, in fact. Because our mega draw is ongoing and it's just got even bigger. And you can go on our website, highlandradio.com, click on the car and enter the competition there if you wish. The tickets are €10, or you can get 6 for 50, 10 for 80. You can personalise them if you want to give them as gifts for Christmas or birthdays or whatever you want to do. And what could you win? Well, you can win a brand new Kia Exceed. It's a petrol model in white, which comes with all the extras you expect from Kia. It's worth almost €30,000, and it's brought to you in association with our great friends at iMotors. I think they have an open weekend coming up this weekend, if I'm not mistaken. Now, also, you can win €2,000 in cash. Now, if you enter this competition between now and the end of November, that's how you also qualify for the €2,000 in cash prize. That will be drawn and given away at the start of December, and then the competition continues on then till the end of December, when the car will be given away. And who's to say what else could be happening added to that mega draw? Who is to say? So if you want to get involved, it's completely up to you. If you want to chance your arm or chance it for somebody else, go on our website, click the car logo. Tickets are a tenner. You can save by buying 6 for 50, 10 for 80. Good luck to all of you. Of course, that €2,000 in cash would be a great way to start your December. And what about driving around in 2022 in a beautiful new Exceed? Now, some of your comments before the bingo numbers, and just, of course, to remind you that on its way is the Community Garda slot with the latest appeals and information from Donegal Gardaí, so stay tuned for that. The fact that Cashel was shut down is unfair, believes this texter. Is this not the same old scenario? Sure, they're away up in Inishowen. We'll just leave them hanging like the Micah people. We need to hear our politicians' voices in Inishowen getting raised higher. It shouldn't be okay. It's never going to be okay that they're short-staffed or whatever it might be, and that one place has a COVID outbreak, staff aren't unavailable, and another place closes and moves the staff to that place. Now, they're different. They offer, it's different services and all that, but there has to be a better way, doesn't there, to maintain services, you would hope. Cashel Centre was bought and funded by the community, all through fundraising for years and years. It belongs to the people and should not be moving young adults to Letterkenny centres. Greg, a friend of mine, in for an operation in Dublin, had 2 tests negative, landed in Dublin, test positive and sent home. Wow. Another, it seems the connection between LUH and Galway is broken. My mother has been up and down to Galway numerous times over the last year, and each morning after landing in Galway, she had to wait for hours past her appointment time so that Galway could contact LUH for those results. 4 times this has happened. Surely by now someone in either hospital could take some control and put a better process in place. The caller believes it to be a disgrace. Another, it's difficult to believe that people who are discriminated against are then discriminated against again by their own service, creating a priority list. This is absolutely inhumane. Another, tell that lady to stay strong. This is Carmel. I feel very sorry for her having to wait another 4 to 6 weeks. That can feel like a lifetime when you're a cancer patient. People should remember that their failure to follow up on a test, whatever kind, can have devastating effects. On a brighter side, everyone that listened to Highland today is thinking about you, Carmel, and maybe saying a simple prayer. God bless you indeed. We are thinking on her. Good morning, Greg. Oh my God, that poor woman suffering so much. 3 jabs of a vaccine, disaster. Don't know what to think. Thanks, Greg. Well, Carmel has great, by the sounds of it, great faith in the vaccine. She's not worried about that because she feels perfect. She's not sick at all. She has cancer, she has COVID, and she doesn't have the symptoms of COVID. She says her immune system is through the roof. That part of it, Carmel seems okay with. The problem is she got a test. She wasn't informed of the result, packed her bags, headed to Galway, and was told down there that she'd tested positive. The treatment of Carmel is a disgrace. I really think the next time you have Mr. Murphy on your show that you ask him for an explanation for this shocking treatment of a patient. Let me tell you, we're not waiting until such time as we have access. We're following this up with emails and correspondence with both the hospital and the HSE to get answers for Carmel, to find out what's going on, to try and help to make sure it doesn't happen again. So we're not just going to sit on this and wait until next time we're speaking to people on air. We do I don't. Caroline does an awful lot of work off air. It's where most of the work actually happens, in chasing things up for people and following things up. That's ongoing, so rest assured in relation to that. But the caller goes on to say management should not be able to spin about how the standards are very high and this shouldn't have happened. You should ask why it happened. Mr. Murphy's a PR expert and never impresses me with answers to your questions. Get the gloves off. Well, gloves are early on, really, when we're talking about things like that. But I take your point, and as I say, leave it with us. Okay. Good luck if you're playing the bingo today. Thank you to all of you texting in. All the texts will be gotten to. Thanks to those of you messaging in if you're watching us on YouTube or on Facebook. And a quick reminder for you, obviously, we are a radio station, but some people now like to watch the show, and you can do so by hopping on to our YouTube page, Highland Radio Ireland, and you can watch and converse with us there. And, of course, we've been doing it for a couple of years now, streaming the show in its entirety on Facebook. Go to Highland Radio News and Sport or Highland Radio. And if you want to watch it on your telly, you've got a Fire Stick or it's an Android telly. You can watch it through Facebook Watch or the YouTube channel on your telly. All right, then. We'll be back with the Community Garda slot after we get the bingo numbers in a quick break. Stay right where you are.
It's time for Ncbi Bingo on Highland Radio.
It's Tuesday the 16th of November. You're playing on a brown coloured sheet. The reference number is S7. It's game number 46. The numbers are 62, 30, the number 4, 16, the number 3, 63, 41, 84, 55, and 90. Phone your claim to 910483 before 8 p.m. tonight, leaving your name, contact number, and the name of the shop where you purchased your book. Get all your NCBI Radio Bingo information at highlandradio.com.
Today's 9 till noon show is brought to you in association with Ulster Tyres. Get your tyres ready for winter. Call in to Ulster Tyres in Letterkenny and Ballybuffet today.
He's the sales director, finance director, HR director, and looks after IT, all without a single spark flying. Meet Sean, electrician and Citroen van driver. A great van is like Sean. It can do it all. Like the Citroen Berlingo, Dispatch and Relay. All come with multiple load volume and payload options, 3 front seats, steel bulkhead, twin airbags and Bluetooth as standard. The Citroen van range. Like you, they do it all. For more, see citroen.ie.
Citroen. Your local Citroen dealer is Highland Motors, Mountain Top, Letterkenny.
Already thinking about your Christmas party? At Lucas Burger, Pasta and Pizza Restaurant in Letterkenny, we have the perfect party package for you. You'll enjoy an amazing choice of freshly cooked foods from our special Christmas menu. Let our family look after you this Christmas at Lucas. To book, call 074 911 3404.
As more sectors across Ireland are reopening, the COVID-19 pandemic unemployment payment is changing. If you're currently receiving this payment, the amount you receive will change from the 16th of November. To find out more about how these changes will affect you, visit gov.ie/PUP changes. A Government of Ireland initiative brought to you by the Department of Social Protection.
Candles, lanterns, Christmas trees, decorations and all types of lights. Everything you need for Christmas. Experience the magic of Christmas at Cooney's. Our biggest and best Christmas shop has outstanding value on lights and trees. There really is something for everyone at Cooney's Letterkenny Retail Park.
If the medical experts get it wrong, everything changes. From misdiagnosis or delayed diagnosis to surgical injury or even poor treatment. All have physical, emotional and financial consequences. We're here to help. So if your treatment didn't go according to plan, speak to our experienced medical negligence team at McElhenney & Associates. Find us online or call 074 917 5989. McElhenney & Associates Solicitors, Stranorlar. In contentious business, a solicitor may not calculate fees or other charges as a percentage or proportion of any award or settlement.
If your child is aged 12 to 15, you can register for your free COVID-19 vaccine. All children in this age group will be offered a vaccine, but it's especially important for children with high-risk health conditions, or if a family member is more at risk. Participating pharmacies and GPs now offer free COVID-19 vaccines. For more information and to register, visit hse.ie. From the HSE.
Christmas is well underway at Letterkenny Shopping Centre. Park for free and get everything you need. Thank you for shopping with us this Christmas. Letterkenny Shopping Centre, bringing you the time at...
The time is just turning 22 minutes past 10. And you're very welcome back to the 9 till noon show here on Highland Radio. It is Tuesday, which means it's time to go to the Community Garda slot. And we welcome into the studio this morning Garda Sean Sweeney. Sean, always a pleasure to have you in. Thanks for calling in.
Morning, Greg. Thanks for having me.
Right, now let's get straight down to the appeals, because Garda is seeking the public's assistance as it relates to a burglary in Letterkenny.
That's right. This occurred at the tennis club on the High Road on Saturday, November 13th, approximately 3 a.m. So a window of the side entrance door was smashed and entry was gained. Damage was caused in internal doors, but nothing was stolen. So 2 youths were captured in CCTV entering the building at approximately 3 a.m. and they spent approximately 10 minutes inside. They had their faces covered. So additional CCTV were examined in surrounding areas, but we're appealing to anyone, particularly taxi drivers who may be in the Port Road to High Road between 2:45 a.m. and 3:15 a.m. who may have captured the use on dashcam footage to contact Letterkenny on 67100, or anybody who's any information to contact the confidential line on 1800 666 111.
Right, okay. Now also another burglary in Letterkenny. This is in the Glenrua area.
Yeah, this occurred on Saturday the 13th November, shortly after 9 p.m. So the call was there was a burglary in progress in Glenrua and Letterkenny. So when Gardaí arrived, there was nobody present, but it was evident an attempt had been made to gain entry. So damage had been caused to the window frame of the house, and an internal glass window had been shattered. Entry was not gained to the house in this time. So we'd ask anybody who may have seen or heard anything suspicious was in the area to contact Letterkenny on 9167100. Also, again, we're appealing for dashcam footage if anybody has it.
Yeah, and of course, another opportunity to remind people to stay in touch with the Gardaí if they see anything suspicious or what have you.
Yeah, exactly, Greg. Look, we'd like to stress importance. If you see anything suspicious or observe anything, to give us a call. So burglary rates are on the rise again with the longer, darker evenings. It's important to be alert for our own sake and others in the community, particularly the more vulnerable. So please don't be afraid to call. It's better to be safe than sorry.
So we really need to get back, not that we ever lost it, but to re-emphasise that sort of community watch, to keep an eye out for each other. If you see something, don't necessarily leave it up to someone else to make that call. Don't feel that you're wasting Garda time, for example.
Absolutely. Like, no calls to waste time to us.
Yeah, right. Let's go to Inishowen now and an investigation from Buncrana Gardaí.
Yeah, this is in relation to criminal damage which happened at premises on Main Street in Muff between Friday the 12th of November at 9:45 p.m. and Saturday the 13th November at 8:30 a.m. So a front window of premises was smashed overnight. So if anybody witnessed anything or has any information in relation to this, please contact Buncrana on 9320540.
And more criminal damage this time, Letterkenny Gardaí investigating.
Yeah, this was at Garton Avenue on Wednesday the 10th of November at approximately 9:10 p.m. Outer pane of a front window of a house was smashed with a brick around that time. So if anybody witnessed the incident was in the area or saw anything that would help us in our investigation, please contact Letterkenny at 9167100. Again, we'd appeal for dashcam footage.
And an incident on Main Street in Buncrana next, isn't it?
Yeah, Greg. Sorry, just 2 seconds there.
No problem.
Yeah, so Buncrana, we're appealing for information to the public in relation to a theft that occurred on Main Street on Sunday the 14th November between 5 p.m. and 7 p.m. So an adapted customised bike had been chained to a pole at that location between those times. So when the owner returned the bike, discovered the seat had been stolen. So we're asking for anybody who may have witnessed the incident or have any information to contact Buncrana on 9320540.
Yeah, pretty pointless that, isn't it, it seems, and I presume that person wants that back and you just want to find whoever is responsible. Right, absolutely. Now, a theft at Ballymacool Woods.
Yeah, this occurred, it was reported that an oil burner had been stolen in their property between Tuesday the 9th November at 10 p.m. and Wednesday the 10th November at 3 p.m. So the oil burner was taken from the outside boiler casing. So if anybody's observed any suspicious activity between those times or have any information, please contact Letterkenny on 9167100. We're also looking to make sure it's important that make sure that your property is secure at this time of the year. So please visit www.garda.ie for any advice and tips in relation to security measures can be taken.
Yeah, I mean, these are valuable enough items, aren't they, Sean? And they're often contained in a wee shed or something outside, not often locked, and they're valuable. As sure as a gun fires bullets, we were going to see the theft of these items along with home heating oil.
Especially this time of year, and it's not something you think of.
OK, now it's a vehicle theft or an unauthorised taking, as the Gardaí would call it.
That's what we would call it, yeah. this is in relation to a red Land Rover Jeep. The registration is 04W421. This was stolen from a business premises on the Needtail Blaney Road in Letterkenny on Friday, the 12th of November, shortly before 3:40 a.m. So the Jeep was parked in a secure yard. It was believed to travel in the direction of Paddy Hart's Road. It was discovered on the same date at 7:10 p.m. at Fernhill in Letterkenny. It had been set on fire and was completely destroyed. So we're appealing to anybody with information to contact Letterkenny on 67100. Particularly anybody who is in the Needtail Blaney Road, Paddy Hart Road, on the 12th of November at 3:40 a.m. who may observe the Jeep being driven, who may have dash cam footage, or if they believe they observed documents and captured dash cam footage at some stage between 3:40 a.m. and 7:10 p.m. on the 12th of November, we'd ask them to make contact with us. We'd ask anybody who observed the occupants flee from the Jeep in the area of Fernhill on the 12th of November, please contact Letterkenny or the confidential line 1800 666 111.
All right, okay, a lot of information in there. Now, before we wrap things up, Sunday the 21st of November, it's World Day of Remembrance for road traffic victims.
That's right, yeah. Commemorations to remember the victims of road traffic crashes and their families are due to take place around the country. There's a new focus on the World Day of Remembrance this year, and this is on the victims of serious injuries and their families. So the RSA are going to hold a special event for family members who were killed at the Museum of Modern Literature in Dublin this week, and the event will be available to view on the RSA Facebook page from 2 p.m. on Sunday the 21st of November. So a special Remembrance Mass will also be broadcast live on RT1 this Sunday at 11 a.m. There are numerous other events taking place nationwide, and these details are available on the RSA website.
All right, and it is good to focus on the serious injuries element of it and the impact it has. And I know the local road shows use that as an important message as well, because obviously, you know, fatal road traffic collisions are the most serious, and we hear an awful lot about those, but you don't always hear about the many more people that have, you know, very serious injuries, life-changing injuries. So it's good to focus on that, to remind us that it's not always about the worst-case scenario, that people have very difficult lives after road traffic collisions in some cases.
Absolutely, like I said, it is a life-changing, and it does affect them for the rest of their life.
Listen, Sean, as always, thank you very much. I appreciate it. I think you always get more to read than anyone else.
So they've
got great faith in you, and rightly so. Thanks, Sean. I appreciate it. All right, that's got Sean Sweeney. That was the Community Garda slot, and it's back with you after 10 o'clock next Tuesday, and we'll be back with you on this programme after we take this short break.
Today's 9 till noon show is brought to you in association with Ulster Tyres. Get your tyres winter ready. Drop in to Ulster Tyres in Letterkenny and Ballybuffet today.
Letterkenny Shopping Centre is where real Christmas begins. Get everything you need for the festive season with a wide range of gifts, food and services. Park for free, have a browse, grab a coffee and actually enjoy your Christmas shopping this year. Thank you for visiting Letterkenny Shopping Centre this Christmas.
At AIB, we don't make technology for you to bank. We make it for you to live.
Just watch.
So you can apply and get a loan through your AIB app or online.
Knocking this out like it ain't no thing.
All from the comfort of home. Banking to fit the way you live. AIB, we back doing. Lender criteria, terms and conditions apply. Over 18s only, subject to approval. Security may be required. Allied Irish Banks PLC is regulated by the Central Bank of Ireland.
St Columba's College Dunurler are accepting applications for first year enrolment for the 2022-2023 academic year from Monday, November 8th until Monday, November 29th. Application forms are available on their website, stcolumbuscollege.ie, or from the school office on 074 9131 246.
Enjoy after-work drinks, a catch-up with friends, or a romantic date night in the truly unique surroundings of House Wine Bar and Taproom on Lower Street, Letterkenny, one of Donegal's finest dedicated wine and cocktail bars. Stone Big Pizza and sharing boards are just some of the tasty bites on our new menu. Whether it's a big celebration or a casual get-together, make our house your place to celebrate this winter. Visit House Wine Bar and Taproom on Facebook for more. Group bookings welcome.
You can pick up all the ingredients for a great Black Friday deal at Tesco Mobile, like the Samsung Galaxy A52s 5G, free for just €30 a month on our bill pay plan. That's a saving of €149.99.
Plus, you'll even get 99% network coverage. This is Supermarket Mobile. Visit us in-store or search Tesco Mobile. Every little helps. T's and C's apply. 24-month contract payable by direct debit. 99% population coverage. See tescomobile.ie for full plan details and T's and C's.
Hold on to your hat. Hi guys, it's Derek Ryan here, and I'm really looking forward to our first shows in Donegal for nearly 2 years when we return for a weekend of dancing at the Clonry Hotel, Letterkenny this weekend. On Friday the 19th of November, I'll be joined by David James and Patrick Feeney and his band. On Saturday night, we have Adrian Ryan and Robert Bissell and his band. Tickets for both nights are available from my website, DerekRyanMusic.com. Looking forward to seeing everybody this weekend at the Clonry.
Okay, a caller says some years ago, the late Councillor Sean McAniff complained to Matern about them constantly forecasting rain in Donegal. He said it was affecting the tourism trade in the county. He voiced his anger on Highland Radio to Sean Doherty. I've noticed that this complaint is valid. There's always a black cloud over Donegal and Matern map. Even the most of the country might be rain-free. I remember I was working for Northwest Radio at the time, in the Donegal town office, and we did the interview with Sean, and really what the thrust of what I was saying was, and I'm not contradicting you because it's the same point really, he was saying that the weather was always relating to the northwest. In other words, rain spreading in from the northwest. It wasn't always that they were stating that the rain was sitting over Donegal, but the impression was being given because 3 times a day on TV, radio, whatever, it was rain spreading in for the northwest, winds coming in from the northwest. Now, obviously, given the direction of weather predominantly and the type of weather we get, that left Donegal being talked about with bad weather quite regularly. And I think there was even suggestions of maybe a potential court case. I'm not sure whatever came to that, or if that ever came to pass. Right, time for a break. Stay with us. If you're watching us online, you'll be muted for about 3 minutes for licensing reasons. But we'll be back with you on air. Enjoy this. It's from Ultravox. Okay, that is Ultravox there and Vienna. Now, did you know that it's 20 years since Filipino nurses came to Ireland, and they're celebrating the event with a reunion in the Villa Rose Hotel Stranola on Saturday the 20th of November. And we're joined in studio now by two guests. Firstly, we're going to say good morning to Mary Grace Ailgarmy. Good morning to you. Thank you so much for joining us.
Yeah, good morning, Greg.
And you're very calm. You're not nervous at all. This is a breeze to you.
Well, I hope so. I hope so.
And no, I'm only joking. And we're also joined in studio by Greg Victorino. Good morning to you, Greg.
Good morning, Greg.
It's great to have you with us, and thank you so much for joining us as well. Right, we'll start with you, if that's okay. So, what brought Filipino nurses to Ireland 20 years ago?
Yes. Okay. In 2001, there was a massive hiring of nurses from, it was the Northwestern Health Board at that time. And then it was a new thing for the Philippines that the Europe countries are coming to the Philippines to hire nurses. Mostly it's the Middle East or the America is hiring. So I applied for the interview, and at that time I remember it was 530 applicants, and they're only looking for 120 nurses to be employed for the Northwestern Health Board. So we just got lucky then. So I remember I have the panel from my interview was Mr. Kevin Little and Breed Fury. I remember Kevin Little mentioned to me that most of the applicants are overqualified because some of the nurses came from Saudi when they heard that there's a hiring from Europe, for nurses. So for competition, it's more competitive, for applicants to be hired. So I'm only qualified 2 years at the time. I only just, had a baby at that time. And then, so Kevin Little said, most of you are all qualified. So he just want to see how you sell yourself, how you can contribute, for Ireland, for the nursing service that they have. So,
and at that time, was it a life change? In other words, you were coming over long term. Did it mean moving your family over? Was it that type of an offer you were given at that time, or was it just for you for a shorter period of time?
No, it was only a 2 years contract. Yeah, once we qualified our 2 months adaptation, once we got our registration, we only offered 2 years contract, and then it's up to our, for the health system that time to assess if we can get a permanent post. So
yeah, and was it a tough decision for you to make, or did you?
It was, because I had a baby that time. She was only 3 at that time. So when I got employed, I got, when you pass the interview, you submit your passport, you sign the contract, and that's it. You have to wait to be called in once your working visa. So it was a big decision.
And were you able to take your family with you?
No, I waited for 3 years. I waited until I got my permanent post because I wasn't sure
of course,
that time.
Yeah.
So when I got my permanent post, I was in St. Joseph that time, and then I got my permanent post in Letterkenny Hospital, and that's the time I decided to bring my family.
Which is tough for you too,
Yes.
a long way from home.
Yeah.
Greg, you came over at the same time, didn't you?
Yeah, I arrived in Dublin, as far as I remember, it was October.
You're like me, you're terrible on dates. Are you?
October 13th.
Yeah. Oh, right, you're very good on dates. Okay.
October 13th, 2001. Yeah, and it was really cold.
And were you able to sort of find out much about Ireland before you arrived here?
Not really, we have actually. I heard this country, right? I know it's geographically speaking, it's besides, or you can find it in besides London or England. So that's what I knew about Ireland, right? It's I know it's small country, small population, so that's what my knowledge about Ireland.
And when you arrived here, how did it match your expectations, or did it?
Well, actually, I was delighted to be here.
Yeah,
because I love nature. I saw the green areas, and the weather. I think, that's one of the culture shocks is the weather.
Yeah. And before we talk more about that, something that often crosses my mind, and either of you can answer this, we would go to your birth country, okay, and we would seek to bring your nurses over here, to bring you over here. And I often wonder, do we, in doing that, leave shortages in the likes of the Philippines? Do you know what I mean, or other countries?
Well, Greg, for me, we have loads of universities in the Philippines. Loads of graduates, nurses. There's still more students taking nursing course. So I think the shortage will not be happening.
But also too, Greg, you were coming to a country, where lots of people, and particularly around from this area, they themselves do that. They travel to work in London or America or Canada or the UAE more recently. So, you were moving to a country that has this tradition too of people moving elsewhere to work for a time. Tell us about your first couple of years here, Greg. What was it like?
Well, as I've told you, I arrived here in 2001, and it was the Northwestern Health Board who was engaged with or assigned to with this health system here. My first 2 years, I worked in the General Hospital here in Letterkenny. Mostly, first few months. Well, I was in Medical 1, Medical 2, and Medical 3. But I really, I stayed most of my work, my years in medical rehab under Dr. Mulpeter. I stayed there. I worked there for a year and 6 months. And then during that time, it was Michael Shannon, who was the director of nursing in the General. So unfortunately, I think he refused, or he didn't renew our contract because, well, as far as I know, he is expecting more nursing graduates from the college, but I think it didn't happen. So I heard from Lifford Hospital that former director Gwen Mooney rang me and offered me a job, as well as Paul Hume, who was the former nursing director in St. Joseph. But I chose to work in Lifford Hospital.
Well, you're in St. Joseph's now, though.
Yes.
20.
Yeah.
You found your way there one way or other, isn't it?
Well, so that's my first 2 years,
And did you come here at the same time with your brother, Greg?
Emil? No, I was 1 year. 1 year ahead. Oh, sorry, 1 month ahead.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, actually we're four here. Four family members.
Really? Okay.
My sister went first with my sister-in-law. They came on July 2001. And then I came on October. I have a brother who's a church musician. He worked here as well as the choir director in Manor Hamilton.
Okay, in Leitrim.
In County Leitrim. Yeah. He studied in Germany. He came over here to be with us, and another sister, but she's now in Australia, nursing in Australia.
So she came here to nurse and then moved to Australia to nurse. Yeah. And how did you find? And we'll go back to Mary Grace shortly as well. But how did you find? I suppose in the most simplest terms, fitting in. Because obviously you're working long hours, but you get time off and you get weekends off. And I just can imagine, if I were to move to the Philippines or any country for that matter, it takes a while to sort of get settled in. Was that good for you? Was it difficult for you, or a challenge that you enjoyed?
It's quite challenging, the shift, the hours of work, because in the Philippines we don't do long days.
Yeah,
that's tough. 12-hour shift. So since we adopted the way how nurses work here in Ireland.
Yeah,
and then here we are.
Yeah, working long shifts in the rain and cold, and this is the life you choose.
Well.
And we are delighted. That you did. Mary Grace, what about your first couple of years here? Very difficult, separated from your family, but presumably you're saying it's for a greater good and it's for a long-term thing. But tough for you, I'm sure.
It was tough because I'm the eldest of 5, and then I got married so young. So I was hoping like working abroad will help my own family and my extended family to give them a quality of life. So when I heard about the Europe and the offer wages that they have to us, it was really great. But then it was quite nervous because I haven't, like Europe and the Philippines, so far away. It took us like 18 hours, 20 hours altogether. When I was flying here, I was crying. It's like, I hope I'll see my daughter soon, you know.
Yeah. But you know there's things you're going to miss. You're going to miss a birthday or other important days in the calendar for you.
Yes.
Maybe if someone were to become ill, God forbid, you know, you can't
be far
just far away, which makes it more difficult for you. Sometimes it's easier for family in that situation that are there witnessing things than it is for someone who's so far removed from it.
It does. I remember when I was ringing my daughter and she was asking, where am I? And she's complaining of a toothache. And you're crying because you look after other people as a nurse, but you cannot look after your own family. But it's just a matter of sacrifice.
But you get through that and you remind yourself of why you're doing this, isn't it? Yeah.
I was just lucky after my adaptation in Letterkenny for 2 months. I was transferred to St. Joseph for 2 years. And St. Joseph is like my second family.
Right.
They welcome me very warmly and they make you at home. They know that you're far away from family. And then when you talk to older people, they said that that's what Irish people do. They went to England and America to work and leave their family behind. So you don't feel bad at the same time.
What were your greatest challenges then? Obviously, we talked about, the big move and the separation from your daughter and wider family, but in terms of like, what was it making friends? Was it the language barrier? I know you would have had very good English when you come here, but what was difficult?
At the beginning, we were lucky. We were 6 in the one house of the Filipinos, but we were assigned in different area. And the beginning, when I was in gynae ward, the 2 months that I was in adaptation, it was quite hard because some of the patients they're reluctant to talk to you because they think that they're not able to understand you. So that kind of thing, it's like a language barrier, really. But it will take time. You just have to. That's why the adaptation is just they see how you get on and to observe and to adapt the Irish way of nursing care.
Yeah. So, and do we know how many, you talked of the initial amount they were talking, but over the 20 years, do we know how many Filipino nurses have moved to Ireland or this region to care for people?
I remember we were 80 at the beginning.
Yes.
And then now that we're having a reunion, we were 30 now left. Some retired, some moved to different places like America, England, and Australia. And actually, there's 2 from Sligo, but they still think they're part of Donegal. So they're coming over on Saturday for the
They're not going to miss that, are they?
Yeah.
Okay.
It's nice to see after 20 years that we are well and we're still here.
Yeah.
Like we have some colleagues already also pass away because of the disease, things like that. So it's quite emotional, the same thing, because we usually had Filipino gatherings sometimes, but because of the pandemic, that forbid us to
and
meet
those
up.
connections are lost.
So with this one, I said 20 years, we have to make it.
Yeah.
And hopefully after 10 years, we're still together.
Okay. Greg, how often were you able to, if at all, get back to the Philippines?
Well, I remember that my last holiday, we went back there on 2019 on May. That's the last time.
Pre-pandemic, really,
yes,
I suppose.
That's right.
Yeah.
We sponsored a wedding of our friend, since that, we're stuck here.
And
the pandemic.
Where do you see your future now? Is this home for you, or do you plan?
Well, like my colleagues, they keep asking me, "What's your future plan?" Well, since I got permanent post here, paying my pension and all, well, I consider that I should be retiring here.
Yeah.
I love it here. Well, in fairness, I adopted everything here, weather, people, lifestyle.
Yeah.
I'm happy and content.
And for you too, Mary Grace, do you see your future here, or what's your plans?
Well, my daughter was only almost 7 at the time when she came. Now she's a qualified nurse.
She followed you into nurse? Okay, right, lovely.
She's actually working as a staff nurse in the Royal Victoria Hospital.
So,
and then
that's in Belfast, isn't it?
Yes, and I have 2 children born here. Second
you're
year.
stuck here now.
So I'm stuck here. Yeah.
In a very good way.
Yes,
in a very
but
good
I'm
way,
quite
better.
happy. I'm really quite happy. The Irish community is more Filipino attitude, like more Christian, and we adopt, like we have our own Filipino choir in Stranorler. Things we adopt in the way they're living here.
And you keep a little bit of home here, and here's home, and you get that combination. In terms of when you look at how things are at home, have things improved there? Do you are nurses treated any better now, Greg, in the Philippines?
Yeah, what I heard recently, the salary, there's some
improvements.
improvement. Yes, since I've started nursing there, it's really, the salary is just sufficient for your daily.
It's a living wage almost. Where okay.
Yeah. But there's some improvement now.
Okay, that's good.
I hope the government continues doing that. Increase the salary.
You would share that view, wouldn't you, Mary Grace?
Yeah, yes, yeah.
Okay, so what's happening then on in the Villa Rose Hotel in Stranorler? What's going to be? Have you loads of exciting things planned, Mary Grace? I'm sure.
The Villa Rose is like a lunch date.
Yeah.
So we are get together, and then there was like I would like to thank Mr. Martin Harley. I contacted him, like we're celebrating this, and he actually gave us a certificate.
Okay.
That was signed by the executive John McLaughlin. So to recognize our service here
and contribution.
Contribution. Yes,
for sure.
And the Irish Nurses Organization also give us a certificate, also to highlight our 20 years here.
This is Gregorio's.
Yeah, that's the Gregorio certificate.
Great.
Yeah, I know, but it's got Gregorio written on it, Greg. Come on, let's not fall out at this stage. It's a beautiful name.
Yeah, and then the Filipino Irish, which our group here also recognizes. So we just like that. And Mr. T.D. Pringle is also promising that he will come personally to give us wishes. So it was nice just to catch up and
get together, see how you are, reflect on your memories and all that type of stuff.
And where are we now with our families growing? So
Okay,
so.
And obviously your daughter's in Belfast, so you've got lots to talk about. She's a nurse, you're a nurse. She calls and visits, and it's lovely. So, what do you? Any reflections on where we're at now to the future? I don't know. Obviously the staff shortage is here at the moment. Should we be looking to the Philippines to try and hire people, or have you any conversation or reflection on any of that, Mary Grace?
There's still a lot of Filipinos are trying to work abroad, but because of the pandemic, they're trying to control the nurses there because they need it there.
Of course.
But
this is what I was saying a little earlier on.
I know, things get better. They probably will, but hopefully, it's quite tight at the moment because there's a lot of requirement that you have to pass the English exam. Things like it's quite difficult now compared to our time.
Yeah.
So about the shortages, I'm quite happy. I'm now in oncology ward, hematology ward. I'm really, really happy, and I'm grateful. I'm in the A team of our ward at the moment. I think they're listening at the moment.
The A team, yeah.
The A team,
like the TV program.
Yes, they're listening at the moment. I'm quite happy, and I've been there for 50 years since it's open. So I'm grateful. I'm still hoping that I can still serve and continue giving our nursing care here for more years. So.
Yeah, and Greg, right across the board through the pandemic, all nurses, regardless of where they're working, whether they're working here or working in the Philippines or Italy or whatever, it's been a very difficult time for the health service right across the world, hasn't it, Greg?
Yes, that's true, because...
And many of your colleagues have passed away as well. Particularly at the particularly at the early part of it.
As well as in Dublin, I think.
Definitely.
Nurses, Filipino nurses. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's very difficult. Okay, and hopefully now things aren't looking fantastic at the moment, but hopefully we get through this winter and things improve gratefully. So this is by invite only. I can't just turn up for this, Grace Ann, can I?
You can pop in and say hi, hello.
But will I get free lunch?
Oh, we will. Yeah, there's no problem. Yeah.
No, I'm only joking. It's lovely, isn't it, to be able to get together, as you mentioned, and celebrate 20 years and many more to come. It's been an absolute pleasure meeting both of you. If unless there's anything you want to add, Greg or Mary Grace?
Can I greet someone?
Take your time. Go ahead. Yes.
First and foremost, I would like to say hi to my wife, Evangeline. She's in Leitrim at the moment, and also my work colleagues in St. Joseph, especially in Finview Ward, and also my friends in Letterkenny and Sligo.
Okay. And you can tell them this has been streamed on Facebook. They can watch you back later on. It's been really lovely meeting the two of you. It genuinely has. Thanks, Greg. And thanks, Mary Grace. And thanks for helping us, coming over and helping us when we obviously needed it at that time and still do. It's been lovely meeting you. Two lovely people. We'll be back with more. After the break, we'll go to the news.
Today's 9 till noon show is brought to you in association with Ulster Tyres. Are your tyres ready for winter? Call into Ulster Tyres in Letterkenny and Ballybuffet today.
Buy a ticket. Buy a ticket in Highland Radio's mega draw to win a car. Get your ticket by November 30th and automatically enter an extra draw before the big draw. Big draw. One lucky winner will walk away with €2,000. Imagine, that's Christmas all wrapped up. Christmas sorted. The draw will take place on Wednesday, December 1st on the 9 till noon show.
9 till noon.
And you're still in with a chance to win the Kia Exceed worth over €28,000. 28 grand.
It's that simple to win that car.
To get your ticket, log on to highlandradio.com.
Highland Radio, exceeding your expectations.
If you've got magic moments or great memories captured on your smartphone, bring your photos to life with McGee's Chemist. Just download their new photo app called McGee's Photo Prints in the Play Store for Android phones and the iOS Store for iPhones. You can also order online at onlinephotoprinting.ie with your photos then delivered direct to your door. Preserve your memories today with McGee's Chemist at Letterkenny, where the best costs less.
It's the perfect Christmas gift. A ticket to the Remembering Joe show starring Ben Dolan and the Dolan family with the original Joe Dolan band at the Mount Errigal Hotel, Letterkenny on Tuesday, December 28th. Book now at the Mount Errigal 074 9122 700.
Do you suffer from heartburn or abdominal pain? Do you experience frequent constipation or diarrhea? If you need or are waiting for an endoscopy consultation, then why not come see us at Kingsbridge Private Hospital, Sligo, where we provide excellence in private healthcare. We are approved by all private health insurers and our specialised consultants are ready to see you. Avoid long journeys and longer waiting lists. Visit kingsbridgeprivatehospital.ie for more information. Because life matters.
Pick a room in your home, one that's maybe been overlooked, that you've put on the long finger and now needs a bit of attention. Think what a difference a new floor covering, a change of furniture, or some stylish accessories would make. At Crow Furnishings in Letterkenny, you'll find a huge showroom filled with dining room, living room, and bedroom furniture. Also floor coverings, home accessories, and so much more. Be inspired at Crow Furnishings, Kiltoy Road, Letterkenny.
Highland Radio weather updates with National Fuels Pierce Road, Letterkenny for all your solid fuel needs at the keenest prices. 9137 400 or nationalfuels.ie.
Cloudy with rain and drizzle becoming more persistent through the morning. The rain, though, will clear eastwards later in the day with drier and cooler conditions to follow. Breezy too with moderate winds, strong on coasts. Temperatures 11 or 12 degrees. It's 11 o'clock. It's time for a news update. And we say, after I fix the microphone, we say good morning to Catherine Gaffney.
Good morning, Greg. The Taoiseach says the COVID situation will get worse before it gets better. NPHET is warning up to 500 people with the virus could be in ICU by next month in a worst case scenario and over 200 in the best case. Ministers have also been given new advice to offer booster vaccines to over 50s and people with underlying conditions. A Jeep has been stolen and set alight in Letterkenny. It had been parked in a secure yard when the theft occurred. The incident happened in the early hours of Friday morning last, with investigations ongoing. Issues with respite services in North Inishowen have yet to be resolved. 3 centres on the peninsula had been closed for long periods of time, with a COVID outbreak to blame for one of the closures. This resulted in staff being redistributed, and now getting the necessary personnel for the resumption of full services is said to be a major issue. 2 youths are wanted in connection with a burglary in Letterkenny. The incident happened at the tennis club on the High Road at 3 a.m. on Saturday morning. A window to the side of the entrance door was smashed and entry was gained. A woman who was due to have a cancerous lump removed in Galway today is hit out at Letterkenny University Hospital over an alleged miscommunication in her positive COVID test. Carmel was diagnosed with breast cancer 3 weeks ago and has received both COVID-19 vaccines and a booster jab. She travelled to Galway on Sunday night, but when she arrived at the hospital, she was told by staff there she was COVID positive and to return home immediately. A tip-off from a witness to a burglary may have deterred those responsible from carrying out the crime in full. Gardaí received a call on Saturday shortly after 9 p.m. in relation to the incident that was in progress at a house in Glenrua in Letterkenny. Letterkenny University Hospital is the second most overcrowded in Ireland today. As of this morning, there were 56 people awaiting admission, 18 of them on trolleys in its emergency department. And details will be revealed later on a long-awaited compensation scheme for survivors of mother and baby homes. The Children's Minister is bringing the package to Cabinet this morning for approval before it is published. That's it for now. We're back with an update for you at 12 noon.
And you're welcome back to the programme. And as I mentioned earlier, I was thinking there was an open day at iMotors. It is. It's actually the 19th, 20th and 21st November. And John Breslin, and I think David James, well, certainly John Breslin is anyway. John Breslin is actually broadcasting live from there. I'm sure there'll be more details as this week wears on. Now, we contacted, as relates to Carmel's case, the HSE. And sometimes our contact isn't about necessarily getting a resolution, because Carmel is on top of that as well. It's to flag it, okay, and to try and ensure something like this doesn't happen again. And, with media inquiries, maybe procedures get looked at and improved. But anyway, the HSC, they say they can't comment on individual cases for all the reasons we know, and they quote an actual Data Protection Act to us. But what they do say is that we regret that any patient should experience a negative incident at our hospitals. If patients or families have concerns or questions in relation to the care, they can contact the hospital to directly discuss the matter further. And then it says that the HSE has a feedback, comments and complaint process in place at all hospitals as part of our Your Service, You're Saying, so it goes on. But hopefully it's been noted now and Carmel's chased up. Great show and great song. Some tough listening. Respect to all. Thanks very much for your comments there. It's a disgrace that the clients from Cashel are offered places in Letterkenny. They deserve to stay in their hometown. We in Inishowen fundraised for that facility for the local people. Now, just in relation to being offered places, that was one particular case that Councillor Donaghy was familiar with. I'm not sure it's a sort of being offered broadly. This caller says there's no transparency on how a person meets the criteria and who decides the list of people who are priority one. Is it an arbitrary decision? It is difficult to believe that in this day and age discrimination is rife, even among those who are already discriminated against, to become a priority one. My heart goes out to Carmel, having had a similar but not the same experience re Letterkenny Hospital over 22 years ago and having to go to Galway several trips prior to eventual surgery. I could write a book on them several times since that. Details much too long for here. Listen, thanks for your communication via email there. It's a disgrace that the clients from Cashel offered places. I've just read that one, I beg your pardon. What date is Highland Radio card draw taking place? Thank you. It's taking place on the 23rd of November. I don't really use notes. I read text and stuff, but in terms of for interviews and stuff, I don't use notes, so I probably should, but I prefer not to. And then sometimes I struggle to remember dates, which... But anyway, 23rd of December, I know it's in my head now. I feel sorry for that poor woman. We put our trust in the health service, but yet people like Carmel are let down. And an incredibly strong woman, Carmel, clearly. But obviously there was a period during that interview where you could you could hear the toll it took on her. Two of the most kind people I've ever met in my life were two Filipino nurses, Carmen and Ncbi, who I came to know when my mother was in Ramelton nursing unit. Hi to Mary Grace, who was just a guest before 11, the most wonderful, generous and caring neighbour we could have ever asked for, and our children have grown up together and become great friends. That's coming in, Mary Grace, from your friends Siobhan and Johnny, and both Greg and Mary Grace, you can see in their faces and their smile that they are very lovely and caring people. Hi, please say a big hello to Mary Grace, wishing her all the best wishes from her friends Mags and Brona. Mags and Brona sending you a lovely message there. All right, time for a break. We'll be back with more and on.
Today's 9 till noon show is brought to you in association with Ulster Tyres. Are your tyres ready for winter? Call into Ulster Tyres in Letterkenny and Ballybuffet today.
Whenever I'm looking for a special gift, I go straight to giftedfromireland.com. It's amazing. Birthdays, weddings, anniversaries. You'll always find something. And for Christmas gifts, it's perfect. Tweeds from Donegal, glass from Waterford, ceramics from Kilkenny, art from Achill. Send your loved ones something really special with giftedfromireland.com.
Thinking of changing your floors? Why not see what Florid Letterkenny has to offer? Florid have a large selection of solid, semi-solid and laminate click vinyl wood flooring together with a fantastic choice of parquet, herringbone flooring, all at incredible value. Don't delay. Call Florid today on 087 161 7008.
Auctioneers, estate agents, letting agents and property management agents operating in the Republic of Ireland must hold a Property Services Regulatory Authority PSRA licence. An auctioneer may auction land, fine arts, antiques or animals at a mart. When engaging an agent, don't assume your agent is licensed. Check the PSRA Register of Licensed Agents at psr.ie. Unlicensed agents are breaking the law. Report unlicensed operators to info@psr.ie. Remember, no PSRA licence, no PSRA consumer protection.
Everyone tells us how important it is to shop around for motor insurance. It's the same when it comes to home insurance. You can save a lot of money by calling O'Malley Scanlon Insurance in Ballybuffet and Dunlow. O'Malley Scanlon Insurance really do look after your best interests by getting you the best policy to suit your needs. They've already saved me money on my motor insurance, and now they've saved me money on my home insurance.
When your motor or home insurance comes up for renewal, contact O'Malley Scanlon at their Ballybuffet office on 9131020 or their Dunlow office on 952206. O'Malley Scanlon Insurance is regulated by the Central Bank of Ireland. Be properly prepared for a Donegal winter and the odd power cut with a visit to Wet n Wild. Wet n Wild are a local family business fully stocked with stoves, gas, head torches, flasks, hydration bottles, sleeping bags, folding beds, pocket knives, merino socks, wellies, gloves and hats. Smile this winter with a visit to Wet n Wild.
Do you currently have vacancies that need urgently filled? Do you require temporary staff for the Christmas period? Have you tried various ways to find new staff but didn't succeed? Let Highland Radio help you source and fill your current vacancies in the most cost-effective way. Simply sign up to our new job spot and we will tell our 70,000 daily listeners about your vacancies. Every Monday, Wednesday and Friday during our primetime shows, we will broadcast the latest job opportunities across the Northwest and into counties Derry and Tyrone. For more information, contact the advertising team on 07491 25322 or email advertising@highlandradio.com. Highland Radio, we're here for you.
Safeguarding is about putting measures in place to uphold our rights and support our health and well-being.
Safeguarding involves us, our families, services and professionals all working together to prevent adult abuse, neglect or coercive control. It also means empowerment if we face challenges with our capacity, that our voice is respected.
Adult Safeguarding Day is Friday, November 19th. Safeguardingday.ie.
Supported by Safeguarding Ireland.
A couple of texts here. A new Gregorio, Greg, as he likes to be called when family... I was just saying that to distinguish him from me. A new Greg when family members were in Lifford Hospital, and he was a great nurse, very kind to the patients. And another caller says... hi Greg, lovely listening to the Filipino nurses, such lovely people. I have a wee boy adopted from the Philippines, such a great boy. They are always smiling. Right now, the government was urged to go to war against dog nappers over the weekend after as many dogs were stolen in the first 5 months of this year than all of 2020. We're joined on the programme now by independent Galway East TD Sean Canny, who claims the current penalties against the pet snatchers are a joke. So let's tease that out more. Deputy Sean Canny, good morning to you.
Good morning. Good morning to all your listeners on Highland Radio.
Right, so has this been across your radar for some time, or why are you vocal on it now, Sean?
Well, I suppose when you look at the figures, first of all, and you see the growth in this illicit business, and you see what's happening, and I have come across in my own constituency where people whose dogs have been taken from them. It's they're their pets. They're something that's actually that they have been a part of their family, and it has been a huge distraught situation for the people who are actually at the loss. Yeah. And also a relationship with the dog and the family. It's a fairly serious bond, and for somebody just to steal a dog, and I think that it is being done in an orchestrated way. It's been planned, and I think it's important that we provide the resources to tackle this head on and to make sure that we get to the root of it.
Do you think the law sort of views it as, well, sure, it's just a pet, it's just a dog, do you know what I mean, and doesn't take into account that emotional bond that you talk of, that the devastating impact it can have on people? Do you think that's...
It can, and even during lockdown, for older people or people living on their own, their dog was probably their companion, and it was also something that we forget about, that people who live in isolation, they have a dog, it's a pet, and it's somebody that talk to and will effectively communicate back with them, whether it's a bark or whether it's a wag of the tail or whatever. It's all part of our living. So I think it's important that at this stage we look at this and say, what's this all about? Why are people doing this? And then when people steal dogs, is there a market for them to resell them? And I think this is very important as well, that we do not have an outlet. If people have an outlet for the sale of dogs that are stolen, well then we have got to cut that off as well. I do believe.
What would you see as and I'm sure you've thought about it, but it would be something that would have to be teased out through debate and conversation. But what do you think if someone steals someone's dog? What do you think an appropriate punishment should be?
Well, I would say that first time round, that person should be get a severe fine and a warning that if they reoffend, they would be a custodial sentence. I think we have to bring it that far.
So,
and I also,
you want people locked up if they're found to have stolen dogs twice?
Yeah, well, I would think it's important that we nip this in the bud. I think we need to have a deterrent. We also need to finance the local authorities properly so that their dog wardens can be, the numbers can be increased so that they can have a bigger presence in the communities, so that people who are thinking about stealing a dog, and it's not just somebody thinking about stealing a dog. I believe it is more organised than that, and I think that we need to get to the root cause of it.
And also, I think we need to understand it. Like, are the authorities exploring whether or not these dogs are being stolen and exported, moved across the border? You know, because it would be very easy for us to presume that a dog is stolen in Galway and sold in Cork. Or you know what I mean? Do we have a full understanding of this criminal behaviour? How much money's involved? Who's pulling the strings? You know, if we had a better understanding of it, perhaps maybe we could get a better handle on it.
Well, I think this is it, but I think if the dog wardens are reinforced with additional resources, more of them on the streets.
Do you really think that would make a difference? You know, these people are going around back roads, they're marking people's houses, they're waiting for an opportune time and putting these dogs into a back of a car or a van or whatever and driving on. Would more dog wardens really make any difference?
I think that the presence of dog wardens would, but I also believe that there is an onus on the state to make sure that we investigate these crimes fully. And what I mean by that is, if a dog is stolen, how do you actually investigate it? How do you go about it? And I think it's important that we have more resources within the Gardaí as well to look at that. The idea that this has been done on an isolated basis is not right. I think that there are, it is organised, and I do believe that it is time for the Gardaí to put resources towards this on a national scale to actually get inside and see what actually is happening. Mm-hmm. The dogs could be going any place. They could be going to Northern Ireland and then over to the UK or whatever. And I'm not saying that that's the way they go. I'm not blaming Northern Ireland. What I'm saying is that there have to be more checks. We also need to have all of our dogs chipped. we need to make sure that they are chipped so that we can trace them up.
Well, that's why I was sort of talking about, if we had a better understanding of how many of these stolen dogs are taken out of the country, because if they're being chipped, perhaps that's not really going to address this issue. I mean, like there is no doubt that we treat the welfare of dogs very, very seriously. Custodial sentence, heavy fines, people being banned from keeping animals if they mistreat dogs. Yet, it's very cruel towards dogs and their owners if they're stolen. Why are we so soft touch in that regard? Really, I suppose that's the question you're adding with but I've put on the comparison. So we take the welfare of our animals seriously. We just need to push it on a bit better.
We do, and I think we also need to ban the sale of dogs online, which is another issue where dogs can be sold online, and you're buying a dog, you might have to make an arrangement to meet somebody at a filling station to pick up the dog. You don't go to see where the dog was kept before you bought the dog. So we need to ban the sale of dogs online. I think it's important. I think that when somebody's buying a dog, they need to understand that they need to go to the premises where they're buying the dog. They need to make sure that the premises is a proper, legitimate premises, that the paperwork is right, and that the dog is chipped. I think there is.
Well, if we're going to go that far, and we're talking then about what seems like a significant review of dog ownership, should prospective owners of dogs have to pass a test, a theory test for dog ownership, or prove that they have the facilities, the resources and the wherewithal to look after pets? If we're going to go beyond your initial calls, let's go the whole way, because I know there are some agencies, certainly here in Donegal, who end up picking up the pieces of abandoned dogs that they think people should be tested before to see if they are capable of looking after a dog.
Well, I think the most important thing, and I suppose at this time of year when people might be thinking about buying a pet for Christmas for their children, I think it's important that they realise that it's not a pet for a day, it's a pet for life. And they need to parents and adults need to examine to see, is there somebody going to be there to look after the dog during the day? Is there a place to house the dog? Is there a place that the dog can be put at night, which is safe? The feeding of the dog and all of the care that needs to go in to make sure a dog is maintained properly. Right. There's veterinary costs and all that kind of thing. And sometimes people buy a dog on the basis, this is a lovely romantic idea to buy a dog for a child for Christmas. But it can be a nightmare if it isn't thought out well in advance.
Particularly,
are you a suitable candidate to have a dog in your home or attached to your home?
Okay.
And sometimes it's better to do that. I think it's awful important that that's done. Because oftentimes people buy a dog and they don't realise, well, hold on a minute, this is an animal that needs caring, and you just cannot it's not just a Saturday morning job you bring them for a walk or her for a walk. There's a lot more involved in that.
For sure. Deputy Sean Canny, thanks very much for your time this morning. I appreciate it.
Thank you very much.
Okay, enjoy the rest of your day. Thank you. Now, just to let you know, by the way, that today we're going to be coming live from Letterkenny Credit Union. It's their second car draw of the year. Someone is going to be getting some good news today. It's the 14th year of the Letterkenny Credit Union members draw, would you believe? And they've given away 54 cars over that time. 2 cars are up for grabs today. 2 lucky Letterkenny Credit Union members will each win a brand new Ford Fiesta ST line. Now, Oisín will be letting you know what's going on at 1:30. You can listen on air, or it'll be streamed live on our social media as well, across our Facebook, YouTube and Twitter. At 10 to 2, Oisín's going to be chatting to some of the people involved in the credit union. And then at 2:15, we get the draw live. So tune in for that. If you want to watch it, as I say, hop onto the social media. And if you want to listen, of course, you'll be listening to the radio anyway, I'm sure. So looking forward to that. It's going to be a good day for someone. All right, back with more after these.
Today's 9 till noon show is brought to you in association with Ulster Tyres. Get your tyres ready for winter. Call in to Ulster Tyres in Letterkenny and Ballybuffet today. Real people are winning real money. Buy your Ncbi Radio Bingo book today and you could be in with a chance to be the next claimant. It's that simple.
My name is Alison Gibson and I am a Ncbi Radio Bingo winner.
Brian
McCormick, Sports and Leisure, Main Street, Letterkenny. Have you tried the Hoka Experience? Running shoes reinvented. Try the Arahai 5J frame. Offers stability with freedom. Or the new Clifton 8 with early stage Meta Rocker, giving you a responsive feel with every stride. New range of Hoka for men and women in store and online. Look the part, play the part. Click and collect on bmcsports.ie.
Milford Tiles and Wood Flooring, Milford Retail Park now open. Large range of wall and floor tiles on display and in stock. Over 70 different laminate floors to suit every pocket. Tilers and wood fitters available. You're welcome to call in and have a look around. Milford Tiles and Wood Flooring, 083 091 0707.
People don't become successful by accident. You've got to know what you want. So take off your shoes, sit down, reach no further than your tablet, type in Skoda, and you've won. Smile about doing less while some other guy is doing loads. Yawn like you've never yawned before. Smile again about the offers from 0%. Then configure your perfect car and fill out the easy online finance application. It's never been easier to be successful. Finance provided by way of hire purchase agreement from Volkswagen Financial Services Ireland and subject to lending criteria. Terms and conditions apply. Visit skoda.ie for further information.
Your local Skoda dealer is DMG Motors, Clara Road, Donegal Town. Telephone 074 9721 396.
Letterkenny IT's Open Day takes place on Thursday the 18th of November, both on campus and online. Whether you're a Leaving Cert student, a graduate, or considering a return to education, there's lots of choice at Letterkenny IT. Visit the campus, explore the exceptional facilities, and meet academic and student support staff on the day. If you can't make it to campus, then join online, take a virtual tour, watch live talks, and ask your questions. That's Letterkenny IT's Open Day on Thursday the 18th of November, on campus and online. Visit lyit.ie/Open Day for more information.
At Letterkenny Shopping Centre, we're already dreaming about the festive season, so why not make a start? Park for free and enjoy your Christmas shopping this year. Letterkenny Shopping Centre, bringing you the time at...
The time is 24 minutes past 11. You're all very welcome back. More of your comments here. An elderly person went into a barber's in Letterkenny, was charged €15, even though everywhere else charged $8. Okay, well, shop with your feet. Listeners, also a cancer patient who was told 2 years ago that her breast implant would need to come out and be replaced. At the time, she was told that this would need to happen sooner rather than later. Still no word. Another, why is there no need for vaccine certs in hotels? If you stay the night, you can use the bar and restaurant with no restrictions. And that contradiction, you might call it, was flagged a long time ago, way back. I read that one. Okay, thanks for that. All right, I want to speak now to Dr. Michelle Maher, Programme Manager with See Her Elected. She's been a guest on the show before. Delighted to have her back on. Good morning to you, Doctor. Thanks for joining us.
Morning, Greg. How are you?
I am good. 2024. It's not that far away now, and that's when the next local elections are taking place. Obviously, you guys are working flat out to help and support people who wish to run for election, and we are now seeing the launch of a new guidebook for women running in the elections. So, I mean, do we go through the reasons why such is required, or is it obvious at this stage, Michelle?
Well, I think you've had me on talking about this before, but I've also been doing an awful lot of listening, and we run our political education SHE school classes, and it was a real privilege to be listening to women talking about politics and to see them coming together around this shared interest in how politics works. But I was listening, so when women were saying, you know, if you're not from a political family, where do you start? Or if you've never been in a political party, how do you go about choosing one? And if you're new to the country, you know, how do you find out all the stuff you need to know about running for election? So 3 of us put our heads together and decided to do something about it. So my colleague Mairead O'Shea from Roscommon and Kathleen O'Mara from Tipperary, a former councillor and senator. And the result of that was the See Her Elected Guide to Running in the 2024 local elections. And what we've put together, Greg, is common sense.
Yeah.
There's no padding in this. It's not a big textbook. It's all the information you need.
And you start presumably with the basics, because, that is the basics. Where do you begin? You start with it. You can tell us, but I mean, you need to think of the financial implications, who's going to help you, that kind of stuff. Talk us through it a little bit, Michelle.
It actually, the guidebook itself, and just to say that it's free, it's on our website, seeherelected.ie. I'd encourage everybody to have a look at it. I'm very, very proud of it. The guidebook it actually starts a step back from where you're saying there, Greg. It actually starts with why not you? Yeah. And that's something I would say directly to every woman that's listening to me now, to just stop and think about it. Why shouldn't it be you in the county council? Or why shouldn't it be you managing a campaign for a woman, or managing the finances, or canvassing? You'd be brilliant at it. So what the guidebook does is that's where it starts, and then it moves on to, listing out everything you need to know about the area you'll be running in and how to find it out. It talks about the selection conventions, how to go about getting your name on the ballot paper, and how to negotiate the selection conventions and when they happen and what you need to have in place. It moves on then to budgets, financing, a lot of time spent in the guidebook about how to put your strategy together, your campaign, putting together your team, how to canvass, and it takes you right the way through to how do you get tickets for the count, the all-party tally teams, how they work, and when you as a candidate or as a campaign manager should be at the count.
Now, just in relation to that, obviously, you're an organisation focused on assisting and promoting women in politics and getting into politics. But would this book be useful to people I've spoken to on many occasions, new Irish people that have moved here, that have been here for an awful long time from a different country, who perhaps don't have, as big a network as others might, that also say, look, we feel, or I feel underrepresented. Would they benefit from this book as well, even though we know, and your remit is supporting women getting elected, and there will be a crossover there, of course. Mm-hmm. Would other people find this useful too, do you think?
It'll be useful to anybody with political ambition. And that's why we decided to make it free. We want to get it into as many women's hands as possible. But we know that, within that group, there'll be people with disabilities who never really thought about themselves as county councillors, or people who are new to the country, people from the traveller community. So just to put everything together in one very accessible format and to make it free for everybody. So we think that this, as well as bringing more women into local government, it can only improve the diversity of the councillors that we have in there. And we're not just kind of sending out the guidebook and off you go now, because we actually have designed a whole series of workshops to go with it. The link and all the information, again, is on our website, seeherelected.ie. And I mean, who should think about coming to the workshops? They start next week, and we're trying to fit in. I really don't like when I'm signing up for something and I have to kind of fit in with somebody else's schedule. What we're trying to do in See Her Elected is fit in with as many women's lives as we can. So we're running the workshops on 4 different times and days of the week. So, we have a specific week each month. So in that week, Monday nights at 8 o'clock, 8 to 9, maybe Tuesday suits you better. If it is, we're running them Tuesday at 10 o'clock in the morning. Wednesdays, really interesting, the amount of people who are going for this one, because it's at 7 o'clock in the morning. So an awful lot of early birds out there. So between 7 and 8, women seeing that as an attractive time to carve out an hour for themselves. And then on Thursdays, we have lunchtime 1 to 2. And we're especially looking for women in Donegal to come along and join in on these workshops. And they're not just for women who are thinking of being a candidate and maybe don't know where to start or want to know a little bit more about it. We're just as interested in the women who would never see themselves as a candidate, but would love to get involved in helping a woman get elected. We really hope to see you all.
And I'm sorry that we often find ourselves touching on the same issues, but maybe they're not changing. We are, a couple of years out from these elections. With the best will in the world, we don't want a situation where we've got a group of people vying for 2 or 3 independent seats or whatever. Is it a case that we are starting to see the system try and change, political parties trying to look at the situation. You know what I mean? That there is a role there, isn't there, to increase representation on the council, and they need to sort of start meeting the candidates some way as well. Are we seeing anything positive in that regard, Michelle?
We are. One of the things that we've done is one of the questions that was being asked over and over again is like, explain the difference to me between Fianna Fáil and Fine Gael, or how do you decide?
Good luck with that one.
how do you decide?
Sorry, that's not an opinion. That's a little bit of satire.
So and how do I choose a party? So I sat down. I thought, right, where do I start? And I thought, well, why don't I start by asking the parties themselves? And they went for it. We contacted every political party and we said, could you put together a video, 2 or 3 minutes, that we will put on our website?
Good idea,
and you tell the women in Donegal or wherever why they should join your party. So we're putting one up a week. So I think Fianna Fáil is up there, Sinn Féin is up there, the Green Party, the Social Democrats, and I think Fine Gael and People Before Profit are on their way. So the political parties engaged with us on that. So to me, they're beginning to see. They're smart people. They know that there's a quota in the Dáil and it's 30% at the moment and it'll be going up to 40%. So where are they going to find the people where they're going to find the candidates at the national level? They'll find them in the county councils.
So just in relation to, say a party, any party, doesn't matter, 12 candidates, currently have 12 councillors on a council. Now, I am making this up, so if it's pure coincidence if it aligns with a party. And they have 10 men, right, and 2 women. We can never really expect, can we, that they will say, right, well, what we're going to do is we're going to let some of our elected councillors down here. We're going to try and get this 8-4 or even 6-6. We're going to have to wait, aren't we, locally until people retire or until,
I would like to think that the political party would pick the best people for the job. So women who are engaging now with See Her Elected, who read this guidebook, who come to the workshops, what we're doing with them is we're saying now in 2021, make yourself a very viable option for a political party. When they're looking for candidates, you're there. What's your issue? What is it? Why shouldn't it be you in the council or helping a woman get there? And we're going to help women be able to articulate very clearly and very powerfully what their motivation is, what they'll do as a councillor, and make it very hard for the political parties to look past them.
Yeah.
We'll also, and the first series, there'll be, I suppose, the first 7 series, they start in November and there's one workshop a month between now and May. So that set of 7 is kind of setting the scene and getting people as far as next summer. So by next May, anyone that comes along once a month to us, they'll be able to articulate their motivation for being a councillor, and they'll know the job, and they'll know their electoral area like the back of their hand.
And I can just imagine the enthusiasm building through that, So, in other words, what seems like an impossible mountain to climb, you can find yourself actually, seeing the summit over the course of those months. I can imagine that happening.
Well, I would like to think so. And although the workshops are once a month, myself at See Her Elected is there between those workshops to meet informally and help people, because there'll be a small assignment, if you like, or a piece of homework or something to get ready for the next workshop, because we're done talking. We're now at the practical nitty gritty. Roll your sleeves up and let's get some more women into the county councils up there.
Right. How do people get more information, see the schedule of events and that type of stuff, Michelle?
Yeah, I said the guidebook itself is free to download from our website, seeherelected.ie. The registration link for the workshops is also on our website, seeherelected.ie. Anyone who registers for the workshop, my first job will be to head out to the post office and put a hard copy of the guidebook in the post to them. They need to pick what time and day suits them to come along, and let's get together, women in Donegal, and let's do it.
Wouldn't it be amazing if people listening to this programme now, a seed was planted, and in sometime in 2024. We were interviewing them down at the Oral Leisure Centre, having been elected. It would be a wonderful story. Here's hoping it's the case. All right, listen, fantastic as always, Michelle. We really appreciate
Thanks very much. And thanks for your support, Greg. Bye-bye.
No, always, no problem. Dr. Michelle Maher there, Programme Manager with See Her Elected. Any views? 086 60 25,000. Are you a person that would like to get involved in politics? And have the conversation here as well if you like. Why would you like to get involved? What do you see as the barriers? What needs to be changed? Because you want any elected body to be truly representative of its people, wouldn't you?
Today's 9 till noon show is brought to you in association with Ulster Tyres. Get your tyres winter ready. Drop in to Ulster Tyres in Letterkenny and Ballybuffet today.
Get your favourite gear delivered to your door from Michael Murphy Sports and Leisure. Browse the full range online to get gifts for all the family, from Gym Goddess leggings to 6-sock gift boxes. Choose from the latest collection of runners and leisure wear with free next day nationwide delivery on orders over €85. Shop online at michaelmurphysports.ie.
Dear Grandma and Grandad, thank you so much for my lovely present.
Dear Uncle Liam, a big thank you for my present.
Dear Auntie Sarah, thanks so much for my present. Unfortunately, it cut my finger.
And I got electric shocks off it.
There was smoke everywhere.
When buying toys, make sure they're safe and carry the CE safety mark, which means they conform to European safety standards. So if you don't see it, don't buy it. Learn more at ccpc.ie/toys for a safe Christmas. From the Competition and Consumer Protection Commission.
Candles, lanterns, Christmas trees, decorations and all types of lights. Everything you need for Christmas. Experience the magic of Christmas at Cooney's. Our biggest and best Christmas shop has outstanding value on lights and trees. There really is something for everyone at Cooney's Letterkenny Retail Park.
Live music and entertainment is back at the Alley Theatre Strabane with the Dubliners Show, Conwell Gallen, Sorry for Your Loss, Cash Returns, The Johnny and June Story, The Christmas Country with the Stars Show and Strabane Chamber Choir. For more information and tickets, alley-theatre.com or follow our socials.
Niall lives on a hill, a very steep hill, which is great for the calf muscles, but when it comes to squeezing in and out of that parking space between the neighbours' pride and joy, Niall begins to worry.
I wonder if they use recycled plastic to make all their recycling bins.
In the new Dacia Duster with automatic gearbox and hill start assist, at least hills are nothing to worry about, and from only €45 per week on the road, nor is the price. Visit the Dacia sales event from the 18th to the 20th of November. Don't worry. Be Duster. Offer made under a hire purchase agreement. Terms and conditions apply. See dacia.ie.
At ESB Networks, we're connecting Ireland to a clean electric future. And as part of the National Smart Metering Programme, we're now installing smart electricity meters in your area. Your new smart meter will reduce the need for estimated bills, help you to manage your electricity usage more efficiently, and enable you to access smart electricity products and services. We'll contact you before your meter is installed. Find out more at esbnetworks.ie/smartmeter.
Calling all brides-to-be, McElhenney's early Black Friday bridal sale has just been announced with up to 70% off selected designer gowns in store for 1 week only from the 15th of November. Book your appointment today. Call 074 91 31217 and find your happily ever after dress at McElhenney's Bridal Rooms.
Now, as I say, we try and get answers to your questions, and we've been trying to get an answer to this one, and I think we have. They say, this emailer said to us, Greg, can you get some clarification? It is widely reported in the media, local and national, that you can now recycle soft plastics. This is something that I was delighted with, as I think that it makes sense. Last weekend, when I visited the recycling centre in Carndonagh, I was advised by the man who helps you there that soft plastics weren't being recycled there, and that, in fact, they were only being recycled by one recycling company based in Dublin. He then said, as he sorted the soft plastics out of my green bags, I also had a bag of broken toys, all plastic, some soft bits and some hard bits. I was advised that this is not recycling, it was rubbish. I was asked to take it home and put it into my black bin. Right, okay, 2 bits there. So we got on to the council and they say the following. In relation to the soft plastics, the reintroduction is for the household recycling bin provided by local waste collectors. Currently, the recycling centres are examining opportunities for accepting soft plastics going forward, but for now, they accept rigid plastic. The rigid plastics accepted at the recycling centres have specific outlets and are processed into specific products such as piping. It's planned that in the future a service for soft plastics will be available at the recycling centres. Now, I would have thought that your local authorities, not being too specific here, would be ahead of that, wouldn't they? And they'd say, right, okay, there's a change coming. Let's make sure we're out in front of it. I don't imagine you need much more than a couple of black bins to sort of support the public in their effort to recycle these soft plastics. But no, only in your bin. Right, Ken, good morning to you.
Good morning, Greg.
Right, we were talking earlier on about dog thefts and penalties for it and what happens to these pets. Ken, tell us what you have to say.
I was watching, I think it was BBC Northern Ireland about a month ago, and they had an investigation into all this. Now, the problem being, as it does not matter how tight the Republic are, the dogs have been taken out through Northern Ireland. What the programme showed was the dogs were being brought to the border. That's dog napping and puppy farms. They're being brought to the border and they're being microchipped, but the microchips are not being registered.
Mm-hmm.
Even if a microchip's checked, it'll show a number, but it'll not be registered anywhere.
So it's not going to a database. It'll read a number, but it won't link to a central system.
Yeah, and then what's happening then is they're taking the animals through Belfast and Larne, and the problem there, the minister himself was on and says they do not have the personnel to patrol all this. So they're just taking the dogs straight over to Scotland and England, and then they followed one of the vans as it come from Armagh. They showed you the vans, they showed you the faces of the people that were doing it, and I think they maybe named a couple of them. But it's a lot more organised than anybody realised.
And that makes sense, Ken, because this is what I was talking about, chipping. We're a small island nation here, and if these gangs are lifting hundreds of dogs, I'm not sure there is actually, and I could be naive here, the market for them, or, a big enough market that it wouldn't be very clear what they're doing. It makes a lot of sense to me. What do? You load them up, you drive them into a different jurisdiction, and it makes moving them on far more easy.
Through Northern Ireland, it's just simple. There's basically practically no checks, and any checks that are made, they see a microchip and they get a number, but they don't check if it's registered. Then they just take the dogs and say they followed one of the vans. It was a dog transporter, and he was stopping in different places.
Yes.
Normally they'll park around behind a building, or they'll go into one of these lorry parks and they'll park behind a lorry where they can't be seen. Then they change the dogs over and they charge or all their vans, and then they go to the next stop. So like I say, it's very, very highly organised, but if Northern Ireland doesn't do something about it, it doesn't matter what the authorities in the Republic are doing. They're not going to stop it. They need to get the ports in Northern Ireland need to be a lot stricter than they are.
Yeah, that makes sense. Yeah, indeed. Because all you have to do is worry about getting across the border and there's nothing on it and you're home free. Ken, listen, thanks for your insight into that. I appreciate it greatly. It makes sense.
Okay.
Okay, good stuff. Now, it makes sense 100%. It shouldn't be the case, but it is. But that's what I was thinking, because I say, if you think about it, I know we're a big country, but we're small enough too. And to be active dog stealing, dog selling, doing a lot of it online, you would think eventually you would get rumbled. But if you're exporting the dogs, shifting them out of the country, it makes it an awful lot easier, I would imagine. The parasites that steal dogs, says this texter, should be locked up, not given fines, as they're stealing family members, as the dogs are a member of a family, and the punishment should fit the crime. A fine for this crime is not acceptable. And the deputy actually, in his comments elsewhere, did actually say that it should be treated it feels like a family member is being kidnapped and treated as such. Carmel was back on to us, because you remember we contacted the HSE and they said make a complaint. Well, Carmel got back in touch with us and said, on my way home yesterday, I phoned the hospital and asked for the complaint service. I got an answering machine, and to this minute, no one has called me back. The response from the HSE is disgraceful. Carmel, does it feel like insult to injury there? Because, the HSE come back and say, hell on you, we can't talk about Carmel's case because of GDPR and the Act of 2040, whatever it is. We have a complaint system there in place. Carmel should contact that. Well, Carmel did contact that, right? And probably added to her frustration. She left a message, no call back, and then finds herself having to ring her local radio station to get the to pursue the matter. I totally agree with the comments about the RTE weather. It's rubbish. I watch Barra Best on the evening news on BBC Northern Ireland. He's always right. Now, he's very popular on social media as well, is Barra Best. I don't watch much TV news, but there you go. Yes, I must say, Greg, I got a surprise with my insurance this year. It was down €90. So I'm a happy cookie. What are you going to do with that money? All right, nice one. My insurance on a car, €25,000. That's the car price. Fully comprehensive with breakdown and windscreen cover is €356, down from €650. That's with Liberty. Wow, that's a nice saving, isn't it? That's €300 in your back pocket, much more than the 15%. Morning, Greg. My insurance was $470 last year. It was $420 this year. Now, you can shop around and save a fortune. Now, if the person's listening, she knows who she is. I won't embarrass her and name her, but she's a terrier with these insurance companies and saves a fortune because doesn't accept it. Rings them up saying, "Oh, I've got this quote here. What can you do?" Back and forwards. It takes a bit of time, but the insurance is around £300 or something. It's crazy low from an initial quote closer to 1,000. Right, okay, we are going to be speaking to our next guest in just a minute.
Today's 9 till noon show is brought to you in association with Ulster Tyres. Winter is coming. Get your tyres winter ready. Call in to Ulster Tyres in Letterkenny and Ballybuffet today.
Buy a ticket. Buy a ticket in Highland Radio's mega draw to win a car. Get your ticket by November 30th and automatically enter an extra draw before the big draw. Big draw. One lucky winner will walk away with €2,000. Imagine, that's Christmas all wrapped up. Christmas sorted. The draw will take place on Wednesday, December 1st on the 9 till noon show. 9 till noon. And you're still in with a chance to win the Kia Exceed worth over €28,000. 28 grand.
It's that simple to win that car.
To get your ticket, log on to highlandradio.com. Highland Radio, exceeding your expectations.
Amazing Aldi value, you'll find it right here. For a Christmas dinner with plenty of cheer. From the 20th of December, fresh whole turkeys from $8.99. From the 26th of November, traditional horseshoe ham from only $7.99. All board be a quality assured and 100% Irish. 6 delicious deep-filled mince pies, just 89¢. And grapevine Merlot wine, only $4.99. Aldi, make Christmas amazing for everyone. Enjoy alcohol responsibly.
New this week in Home Store and More. All our Christmas tree lights are half price. Time to get Christmas ready with over 100 different types and colours to choose from. But better hurry, because when all our half-price Christmas tree lights are gone, they're gone. Also, all cookware sets and all bath mats are still half price. But when all our half-price cookware sets and bath mats are gone, they're gone too. So order online before 2 p.m. today for next day delivery. Or drop by your local Home Store and More. Home Store and More. A happy home.
Sheehan Duffy Tyres have launched Finn Valley's first fully equipped mobile tyre fitting unit. So whether you're at home, at work or on the roadside, we will bring the tyre shop to you. For more information, go to SheehanDuffyTyres.com or call 087 712 8873. Sheehan Duffy Tyres, fitting in to your day.
It's the perfect Christmas gift. A ticket to the Remembering Joe show starring Ben Dolan and the Dolan family with the original Joe Dolan band at the Mount Erigal Hotel, Letterkenny on Tuesday, December 28th. Book now at the Mount Erigal 074 9122 700.
November 19th is UN World Toilet Day, a day to raise awareness of the 3.6 billion people worldwide living without access to toilets. The Think Before You Flush campaign are asking you to value your toilet. Let's look after our toilets and environment by only flushing the 3 Ps: poo, pee and paper. Put everything else in the bin. For more information, visit thinkbeforeyouflush.org. Think Before You Flush is run by Clean Coast in partnership with Irish Water.
Highland Radio weather updates with National Fuels Letterkenny. For a keen price on your home heating oil, call National Fuels on 9137 400.
Now we're seeing more rain and drizzle, though it will clear later in the day with drier and cooler conditions to follow. Breezy with moderate to fresh south winds, temperatures 11 or 12 degrees. Now I would pretty much, for a time, been across most of the restrictions, most of what we need to be doing, what we might not need to be doing, and all that kind of stuff. But I'm finding it hard to follow now at this point. You know, we're being told to do this, that and the other, and then you see Paul Reid at a function, and you wonder, well, would I have done that? Or you see, you know, Micheál Martin in a function with the president, and you wonder, well, is that exactly what we're being told to do? Because I would have thought you can't really do that. And then we're being told nightclubs are open, everywhere is open, but don't go out, you know, cut down your contacts. Well, it's all very confusing, I think. Linda Boyle's co-owner of Fusion Truck and Bistro, beg your pardon, and is in business. Do you find it confusing, Linda?
It's one nightmare after another. There's no clear-cut information out there at all. You're told that you can basically operate as normal with your social distance and whatever in place, and then your customers are told, well, actually don't go out, don't socialise, don't mix, don't go indoors. And like, I don't know, how are we meant to live with this, or how, like from a business point of view, how are you meant to survive this?
Because they're the same people that are saying, look, there's a set of rules. But then what they're saying is, we've set that rules, but here's another set of rules that we would like you really to follow, not that actual set of rules that we announced.
Yeah.
And that sounds a confusing way of putting it. That's a very simple way of putting a very confusing situation, Linda.
Yeah, basically, you know, there's no... The narrative being pushed at the minute, and I'm not downplaying COVID, and I'm not downplaying I know it's a serious situation, but the fear being pushed out there and the anxiety in people is just unreal, and nobody knows. Majority of people up to now have done what has been right and have done their best. Majority have got vaccinated, majority have stayed at home when they needed to stay at home. You know, where does it end? Where do we actually start living with this and a realistic plan?
So what you're saying, Linda, from a business perspective too, it might not be a lockdown that could close a business. It would be the sort of other information. Don't go to that business even that it's open, that could end up seeing a business going under.
That's actually more of a risk at the minute, because there's only so many loans, there's only so many things that you can take, because there is no subsidies. We're not getting paid anything at the minute. There's nothing in place to help businesses. Just clear that up before anybody says we've all got such and such and such. There is nothing there. So overheads have actually increased because your price of buying everything in has increased. You have your PUP payments have to pay back, your restart grants have to be paid back. So it's coming to the stage now very, very quickly where you look and say, right, we know what. Do we continue with this and end up financially crippled, or do you just now draw a line and say, right, we'll walk away and we'll cut our losses and we'll pay back whatever we have to pay back?
Right, Linda, listen, it's a very important subject. I wish I had more time to speak to you about it, because I think it's a really important, because what we're seeing too in other areas of businesses, events that were scheduled are being cancelled. Now, there's no official public health grounds to cancel them, but people and businesses are thinking they're doing the right thing, because that's the sort of advice that's coming from, maybe it's, they're not saying, right, go ahead with them, but try and see if people might do an antigen test before attending or something like that there. And people are making their own decisions within the guidelines because they're confused as to what the guidelines are. We're going to have to come back to this, Linda, because it's a really important issue, and I appreciate your short time this morning, and hopefully we'll speak again soon. Thank you.
Yeah, I'll free any time to
Good
talk
stuff,
to you.
all right,
Thanks,
because we'll have to come back to that one. It's a really important point. Linda Boyle, co-owner of the Fusion Truck and Bistro. Right, so Dementia Understand Together, it's a campaign we are backing. It's about really inspiring people from all sections of our society to stand with and together the 500,000 people in this country who've been affected by dementia. Here's some information that might be of help.
We all understand the importance of social interaction, being with each other, connecting and sharing experiences, now more than ever. But did you know social interaction plays a key role in helping people who are living with dementia? It's healthy, like exercise for the brain, and it supports well-being, which has positive benefits for the person. Staying socially engaged with friends and family has also been shown to boost self-esteem. A dementia-inclusive community enables people who are living with dementia to do just that, to live. Whether that's staying connected to or joining a club, taking up a hobby or visiting their local shop. Being with each other to talk and share experiences nurtures the soul and gives a sense of belonging. You can be that connection. For more information and support, free phone 1-800 341 341 or visit understandtogether.ie. From the HSE in partnership with the Alzheimer's Society of Ireland and Age Friendly Ireland.